podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
I don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone. En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie. We don't come to play in this sport.
Hey, Daddy.
You fight with nobody.
This a dollar beat. This a dollar beat.
BoxingWords.com.
You won the belt with nobody.
BoxingWords.com.
This a dollar beat.
You never gonna get the fight, man. You're a horrible fighter.
BoxingWords.com.
Payday. You want payday. I know that. Oh, look this guy. There's a plan to go for the belt, and I'm coming, man. I'm coming, my friend. Get the fuck out of here, man. Please get the fuck out of here, man.
BoxingWords.com.
Because I'm gonna fuck you out right now, motherfucker.
BoxingWords.com.
Good morning, TBV. What up, ladies and gentlemen? How the hell are you, man? Light it up, light it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and light this up, man. Hold up. What up, though? Good morning, people. What's happening? In the words of Georgie Porgy, man, what's happening? Shout out to Canelo Alvarez giving us content for this fine morning to discuss. It's not over, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not over. We thought we were done with the decision and okay with the fact that it ended in draw. But now the face of boxing may sway a few 100,000 Latino fans as Canelo Alvarez FaceTimes Brian Castaño. Now, I want to say shout out to, let me double check this. I don't want to, because I know his name is Constantino. I've met him, but I want to give his YouTube channel out properly. Where is this? Constantino Garcia, and his channel is Little Giant, right? It's called Little Giant Boxing. 100,000 subscribers. Shout out to you. Clicking the like button. He used to be with Marcos Villegas and Fight Hub, and he started his own YouTube channel. And Constantino Garcia is doing his numbers because I believe Eddie Reynoso FaceTimed Constantino to let Canelo congratulate Brian Castaño. So we'll listen to the audio and I'll translate it for you. Yeah, let's go there.
Con la familia y nada, es un placer lo que tu llamada.
So I'll stop there, right? So he says, let's start it over. So I'll go little by little.
Con la familia y nada, es un placer lo que tu llamada.
So he says, you know, un saludo a la familia y es un placer tu llamada. So he's like, you know, thank you, and I hope that your family's doing well. It is a pleasure to have you calling me, you know.
Muchas gracias.
So Canelo replies, Castaño, let me tell you one thing. For me, you won. And Castaño says, Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.
He said, from what I saw, for me, you won. Motherfucker, you won. Because he said, cabrón. Para mí, ganaste, cabrón. Shout out to Canelo.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
He said, you won, you know, obviously he said mother effer. He said, you won, mother effer. For me, you won. What an amazing fight. Gran pelea. So it's either an amazing fight or great fight. I guess it could be translated to.
Muchas gracias.
Te felicito, me. He said, que gran pelea, te felicito. So that means like, I congratulate you. He says, what a great fight. I congratulate you.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, hermano. La verdad que le echamos porra, echamos por puro para adelante, vos sabés cómo es esto. Tratamos de darle, dejar todo, vos sabés cómo es. Al primer nivel.
So this is the Instagram clip. I didn't want to share his whole audio. You can go to Constantino Garcia's interview on his YouTube channel and subscribe. It's at 100,000. He's killing it. And yeah, man. I mean, look, at the end, people are like, oh, who cares what Canelo thinks? See, that's the, you guys are so naive, you know? Today, who cares what Canelo thinks? Yesterday, Canelo needs to give certain fighters a shot. And this is how you get it. Remember that we spoke about what was Charlo going to do. Hey, maestro, dime. If you want to jump on, let me know, champ. I'm Solo Dolo, Scarface, no Manolo. But listen, what did we speak about? We spoke about Charlo, right? And what he would do after being undisputed, because we automatically assume he would become undisputed, right? So we spoke about him possibly getting a Canelo opportunity, right? Before his brother, right? Because of what? Because of being undisputed and having the accomplishments, he might have gotten the opportunity with Canelo, right? Some said, yeah, he'll give him the shot because he'll be bringing him up, but he still would have gotten it because of the accomplishments. So it does matter when the face of boxing thinks you lost, because he can influence certain matter of fans. You know, how many, who knows? But to act as if it doesn't matter that Canelo thinks you lost, to act as if it isn't news, to act as if I will be the only one reporting on this, you guys have lost it. Because had Jermell got the win, he could have been an option for Canelo. He could have been an option for Canelo. Has Canelo ever beaten an undisputed champion? No, the fuck he hasn't. So, you know, I said it before the fight that he could have been an option for Canelo over his brother Jamal because of the accomplishment of becoming undisputed. Obviously, that didn't happen, but that's why this piece of information is important. Because if Canelo thinks you lost, why would he fight you? I said if Canelo thinks you lost, why would he fight you? And now, whenever he gets asked about Jermell Charlo, in some sort of aggressive manner where someone's like, yo, when you going to give the Charlo? But all he has to say is, man, Charlo owes Castaño a rematch. That's all he got to say. So I think this is very important. Good morning to Marioski. Mario, bringing you up to speed, or were you listening in the background?
I was listening. I mean, in and out, but yeah, I was listening.
So, I mean, the chat seems to believe it's not important that Canelo thinks Castaño beat Jermell. I seem to think, thank you. I seem to think this is almost damaging. I think more people, it extends the life of the draw, right? Because it goes now from draw to loss because the face of boxing thinks you lost. So who isn't going to make an article or a headline to get that Canelo Alvarez attention while simultaneously still telling the story?
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. 100%. It extends the life of the draw. That's what it does. And it also perceives it a certain way, right? So if the top of the mountain feels a certain way about it, then it's like that's his excuse, right or wrong, for, not fighting him at this point, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just more shade to throw on top. And I don't think it's shade necessarily, because I think he won as well. But yeah, I think it is a problem. I mean, not a problem, but it's at this point, it's piling up on Mel to have to take that rematch. Like, at this point, you're getting it from every which way. You're getting it from fighters. You're getting it from media. You're getting it from the fans. Nobody thinks that you did any better than a draw. Maybe like a round could be given to you, but the fact that it was put on this kind of pedestal with Canelo, it heightens it. It highlights it, and it makes it even more truer, I guess is the way to put that. I really don't, know how to say that, but in a world of media and social media and fake news, it is what it is, and that's firepower to continue the narrative that that you're not going to be able to get around any other way.
Yeah, man. Listen, the fact that the hatred for Canelo is so weird, right? And this isn't even supposed to be, well, I guess it is a Canelo show, but it's not supposed to be about him personally. It's supposed to be about his feelings on the fight. But he gets so much hate that they're like, F Canelo and his thoughts. Meanwhile, yesterday's show for 4.5 hours, one of the main topics was Terrence Crawford, a welterweight's thoughts on a junior middleweight's fight. So, I mean, we got to keep the same energy. If we care what Crawford says, why the freak won't we care what the number one pound for pound guy says? And I think it shows something else, right? It shows Crawford came out to take a dig at Jermell, and I understand it. They've had some back and forths, and then Jermell extended that back and forth by discussing Crawford's position on the pound for pound, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Canelo, the Mexican, is just supporting the Latino.
Yeah.
Brian Castaño is not Mexican. Brian Castaño is from an entirely different country with two different idioms, and they still, are supporting one another. He still received the call. That's Canelo's energy. When Andy won, he congratulated. So I think we need to take a page out of that. Maybe we need to be congratulating our fighters, as Americans as well, giving them that support, win or lose, tough times or good times, because there wasn't a lot of that. Jermell has gotten and received a lot of negativity, is the word I'll use to blanket all that's been going on since Saturday night. Unlike Canelo showing an abundance of love and support for Castaño, public love and support, which means a boost in popularity, possible social media, and just overall presence in boxing.
Well, look, and the thing is this, and I'll say this before we go to super chats, because I don't want the super chats to get away from us. What if Mayweather were to come out and say that he thought Castano won? That would be big news. Why? Because he was at the top of the game. I mean, this is a guy we look for. I think anybody that wants to say it otherwise are the people that can't accept the fact that Canelo's at the top of the game, that he replaced Floyd Mayweather. And I'm not saying that he's a exact replacement. He doesn't do the same numbers. He doesn't have the same kind of draw. He isn't the, international global superstar that Floyd Mayweather is. That said, he does represent the active, boxers, and he does represent an active fighter. But the point I was trying to make is, like, if Floyd were to come out and say it, I mean, it means something. You know what I'm saying? Just like when, basketball players come into their rookie year and you got Barkley or Jordan or anybody, whoever, shitting on them or giving them praise, giving them their flowers. It's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And for a fight in which you could make arguments one way or the other, to have a definitive statement from anybody with that kind of clout, it means something. And like you said, with the Crawford thing, I think you're absolutely right. And I'll leave it at that because I do want to get to these super chats. We do have one. Have you read any of them?
I have not. Let me.
Okay, so we do have a
hold on.
$4.99. Go
Let me
ahead.
start from the bottom just to get them in order.
Oh, you probably have some more that I didn't see.
Pardon. It looks like the first one is from Ozzy.
That's what I had.
And it's a blank one?
And it's a blank one. Ozzy, if you had something, let's see. He said, there's another one here,
Yeah.
so let's just read that. Ness, is this why not only fans love Canelo, even fighters? Did you see how humble Canelo is? Even congratulated Anderson Silva on his win over Chavez Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying, yep, I seen him congratulate Silva as well. And as far as why, not only boxing fans love him, maybe this is part of it. I'm going to say that it's not hurting him to be humble and, kind at all. And yeah, I think people can take a page out of that, I'm not saying Crawford needed to coddle and show support for Jermell. They have a thing, but maybe other fighters could have came out and showed some sort of support. The best dad ever. Sure. And that was a $9.99 super chat from Ozzy. So he sent two. Shout out to Ozzy with 2 super chats already for the day. The best dad ever says with a $4.99. PBC, Showtime, Castaño, Charlo, we're all in on the scheme. Oh, we're all in on the scheme. Guess what? This rematch is now worth being pay-per-view. And that's kind of what happened with the Wilder Fury fight, right? But no, the Wilder Fury first fight was pay-per-view, right? The first one?
Yeah, it was pay-per-view. I'm trying to think because I had seen that super chat when it came out or whenever it came on. And I was trying hard to remember, but I'm certain if I think about it. Okay, was Marquez Diaz, they had a rematch, right? No. It was Diaz and somebody. It was one of those guys of the lightweight division. I remember they had a fight on HBO. It was such a good was it Litis or I forgot. Anyway, they had such a good fight, and then it ended up being on pay-per-view after that. And I swear that happened in one of the Pacquiao rematches. But now Morales was on pay-per-view. I don't remember. I'm not remembering very well, but there is examples, historical examples of that happening, and whether that's a scheme, I don't know. Whether it was just a great fight and now they're going to milk our pockets because they know we want it, that's also probably very likely. But Ozzy's second super chat, because I actually just read something. Oh no, that was what I read. Yeah, okay, perfect. He did have 2 super chats like you had mentioned, and that's it. We are done with it.
Yeah, man. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on did you happen to hear the audio yet? I know we got off late yesterday, so maybe not. Did you hear Keith
I did
Idix?
not. No, I did not.
I reached out to Idix, so hopefully we can get him on. Haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah, that would be great because he seems to have some insights right now, and the whole world is waiting. I mean, the whole boxing world. I get more tweets about whether Canelo Caleb Plant is happening in my DMs than anything else. So Zeno Gray with the $2 super chat says, agree with the draw. All greats have off nights. Zeno. Oh, he's saying Zeno. That's how you say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember Zeno. Yeah. Listen, I don't think that was an off night. Like, I was very impressed with Mel. It's a fight. You're going to get hit. Anyone who thinks, oh, you got hit, so that's, you're shitty, has never boxed, will never boxed. And I'm not trying to sound like, oh, you got to box to know. It's just that it helps. It does help to understand, the way boxing works when you actually, give it an attempt. And I don't think it was an off night. In fact, I saw things in Mel that I had yet to see from him. Mostly the biting down, the coming back hard, the going through having issues in the fight and coming through with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing is he showed me a lot of good things, and I personally feel like it was a good performance. I really do. Could it be better? Sure.
Well, let's segue. I haven't talked about the Canelo versus Plant and whether it's happening. Is it happening? Like, we haven't heard anything, and I think that's probably good news. But it is July 19th, which means August 18th is a month, and September 18th would be 2 months, and then the fight should happen, which means we need an announcement. Like,
we need an announcement. We needed it yesterday, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that it's, getting to a point where there's no return, but like, I've never understood that. Why don't you want more time to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get that Canelo's at a certain level, and because of that, he doesn't necessarily need, a long pay-per-view. A long promotional draw, or he doesn't need to advertise it as much or whatever. But adversity. Thank you. Good God, Dez, you don't understand that was like fucking with my head this whole time. Like, I was still trying to remember the word I was trying to use. Adversity. He showed adversity. But yeah, no, we need an announcement. We need it. We needed it yesterday, honestly.
Word. Maestro, buenos días. What's going on, my friend?
¿Cómo está, mi hermano?
I'm good. How are you? And
yes, bro.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Have you been listening in? You need to be brought up to speed on today's daily topic.
Just fill me in on the last 5 minutes, because I had to move from my living room back to the back of the crib over here.
So if you heard the first part, obviously we're talking Canelo's believing that Castaño beat Charlo, and then we just segued into whether...
Great minds think alike. So Mario and me are on Team Canelo on that one.
Yeah, I figured you guys be happy about that. And we're also going to double up on Canelo and ask each other, is this fight with Plant happening? We haven't heard anything, and I think that's the last thing I said was, I guess no news is good news, but we are literally 2 months out of the 18th date.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. One thing, though, is because Canelo doesn't fight on pay-per-view, I think the impetus isn't quite as big as it would be if he was on pay-per-view. If you guys remember the fight last December with Callum Smith, that got put together rather quick.
Yes.
Because it's on DAZN. So, the DAZN, I don't think really needs that 2 month or even longer promotional period, 3 months that you usually get for a fight like this on pay-per-view. That being said, it is starting to enter into alarming territory. We're already now entering the end of July. I'm a teacher, so I'm on vacation, and it's when you start to get into August, it's like, shit, September's around the corner. I gotta get my mind geared up to get back to work, and that's really around the time when Canelo starts, right? It's shortly after schools open up here in New York City, so we're getting to that stage where you would need kind of an 8-week camp, and the thing is with Caleb Plant, he's already not taking Canelo fights, citing the need for more time to train. So let's get this fight organized. And if it doesn't get organized, I'll take the Beterbiev fight as option B.
Yeah, I like that fight too. But here's the thing. We know they're both training to a certain degree, right? We've seen the footage, specifically with Canelo recently, with him and Ryan Garcia, Valdez, everybody's in camp, or at least at the gym. So we know he's training, we know he's getting ready. I think that the problem is that you could start to get to a point where people sour on things. You know what I'm saying? And it just leaves this lasting impression. I think that, again, I wish I could just give you off the top of the head an example of some fights that kind of came together last minute and they didn't end up living up to what they probably could have been. I agree with you. You're right. They don't need the promotion because of DAZN. People that are going to watch it are going to watch it, mostly have DAZN. And, if somebody really wants to watch the fight, they know what's going to happen and they know where to get it. That said, though, I just feel like with what the calendar looks like right now, there's 2 fights that I'm really interested in that are big marquee fights. There are plenty of other fights that I'm interested in that don't, that won't grab the casual's attention. I just feel like this would be a prime moment for them to grab, the headlines. It would be a great time for them to try to build this up properly. You know what I mean? And right now, Spence Pacquiao is the holy grail. And let's be honest, it stays the holy grail. Caleb Plant, Canelo is a great fight, but I just feel like Pacquiao Spence is that much more interesting. So they need that. They need that time, I think.
I disagree with the two of you. Regardless of pay-per-view model or not, I think what the pay-per-view model shows is that if you want a successful promotion, you start 90 days out. If you want a successful promotion, you do a multi-city tour. When we think of the most successful promotions, we obviously point to Mayweather and notice that he did 11 cities, scratched 1, and did 10 with Canelo, did maybe 5 with McGregor. I don't remember how many.
Was it 5 or 3?
No, I'm pretty sure it was
5.
5.
Okay,
New York.
You might be right.
He did New York. He did Washington. Didn't he do DC? He did Canada.
He did Toronto.
He did
Yeah,
LA.
he did Toronto. I remember that. DC, are you sure?
Yeah.
He might have. You're
Hell
right.
yeah. He did
I think
LA.
you're right about the DC.
He did LA. Yo.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's the intelligent part of him, man. You know, before he brought Tank to that area, he was in tune with the DMV, Philadelphia. I'm not saying he was doing stuff in Atlanta, but he was definitely doing walkthroughs. You could Google flyers of Mayweather being at Atlanta clubs. So, you know, I'm just saying, again, people peg me as that's his guy. My guy is boxing. And because I want to make sure that the sport is bigger than football, yeah, man, promote it 90 days out, man. Like, this is late right now. I don't like it. It's supposed to be undisputed with the biggest name in the sports. This isn't Josh Teller, Jose Ramirez. This is Canelo Alvarez versus, again, I'm going to be the only one to say it, the Great White Hope. Who's the last white American boxer to do 1 million views on television, let alone 2 million? Plant's been buzzing for the last 4 fights. Whether you like his opposition or not, the public and Fox, they like his viewership. So, you know, I think they should definitely, you know, get the ball moving on this. If not, go ahead and announce Triple G, which doesn't. You know, that actually fits what you guys are saying. If you do Triple G, it's a fight that the people know. So like Wilder Fury, which even that showed us, hey, we know this fight, we want this fight, but 30 days ain't enough because they canceled it and rescheduled. I don't know. I don't like short promotion, man. I want my casual friends to want to watch the fight. I want that to reach them.
Yes.
I don't want me to have to say, hey, John, Canelo's fighting. You should be telling me, oh, that dude Canelo's fighting this guy. Who's Keller Plant? You know, no one is saying that to me.
The worst thing, yeah, you're absolutely right. The worst thing is to call people on Monday or Tuesday, you know, and say, hey, you know, Saturday night, 6:00, head over, you know, bring whatever you want to drink, and you know, we're barbecuing. And it's like, for what? Well, Canelo's fighting. Is he? Who's he fighting? And it's like, oh, you fucking idiot. Like, it's just like the worst, you know?
The answer better not be Triple G, because I don't want to see that fight.
Hold on, but do you hate that fight? Because, like, I'm starting to come around to it a little bit more, only because it's like, let's just get it over with. It's kind of how the feeling is. It's not my preferred fight, but is it a fight that you hate, or is it just a fight you don't want?
Maybe hate is a strong word. I reserve the word hate for like really bad things. I would say dislike. I say I dislike the fight.
Okay.
I'm definitely not excited by the fight. Look, I consider Triple G to be one of the most overrated fighters of my lifetime, to be honest.
I'm with you, Chan.
Wow. I'm born in the 1980s, so like I've been around for a little bit, you know. Look at his record. Who has he beat? You know, to get all of the accolades that he has, you know, I've been to a couple of his fights. I was there live for the Jacobs fight. I was there live for the Lemieux fight here in New York City. Because I'm a boxing fan and I go to as much boxing as I can when it's at the Garden or at the Barclays. But look, you know, other than the disputed draw to Canelo, what are his major accomplishments in the sport? Like, I actually have gone on record to say that I think Kelly Pavlik, and Bernard Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor would all whoop his ass, and they were the marquee middleweights of like the 2000s. So, you know, he's attached his name to Canelo. He's clout chased off of Canelo for a long, long time. And I'm just getting tired of it. Like, let me see Canelo face somebody new. Plus, I think it's going to be a dominating performance. I already know the answer to what happens in that fight.
So my counter, and you know, that's why they call me a flip-flopper, because I'm more of a debater than a side taker. so that being said,
he gets mad when other people do it.
That being said, you're clearly overlooking his win over Daniel Jacobs, where he dropped him, and because you said what's his best win, or who did he beat?
Who did he beat?
Phrase.
I was at that fight.
No, I know you mentioned that you was there.
Call me crazy, but I think Daniel Jacobs is a good fighter. Mm-hmm. In any other era of middleweight, he's not a great middleweight. He's a good.
Yeah, but that's the problem with that argument, though, Maestro. I think it's like you're because it's like not every era is gonna be as good as another era, and if you're starting, here's the thing. Here's always been like my debate. If you start to compare a fighter to those fighters, the greats,
they'll never live up.
He's at least, yeah, exactly. They'll never live up, but he's at least made it to a point where it's you know what I mean?
Well, Mario, he's the one that did that. You listen to HBO when he was on HBO, they were riding him so hard, and most recently they act as if he's got the all-time record for middleweight title defenses. No, you don't. You don't have that. Like the first few defenses you had were of interim and regular titles, but yet they want to say that he's got more defenses than B-Hop. They want to say that he's got more defenses than Hagler. They want to say he's got more defenses than Carlos Monzon. It's not me comparing them to these dudes. It's the Canelo machine comparing them to these dudes. I'm just basing my arguments of what these chumps have been saying. He is overrated. He's a good fighter. He ain't great. He ain't all-time great. And why do we need to see 3 fights with him against Canelo? Like, nah, man.
See, but that's the problem is you don't represent
the world.
You don't represent the casual fans. You're too educated to be a casual fan. And the problem is how many Canelo fans or Canelo detractors need to see him beat the shit out of Triple G, because he's yet to do that. I thought he won both fights. I scored him for him. Most people, I think, believe he won the first. Believe Triple G won the first one. I think that to a degree, Canelo needs some sort of footage of him just beating the shit out of Triple G. I think that is, it's important for his legacy to, you know, for casual fans, not to me, not for you. And the other thing too, I want to mention, I'm not a historian. I know you're a historian. You know how much I heard during the documentary that was said about Hagler. You know how many instances in that documentary they said, and then people were saying, Hagler, who has he fought? What has he done? What are his accomplishments? And it's like this thing happens every.
What's the difference between Hagler and fucking Triple G? Like they fought.
I wouldn't go that far, but
and Marvin Hagler, and Thomas Hearns and Roberto Duran. He doesn't have those names on his record.
Okay, so
he's also not retired.
So here's my counter.
He doesn't have Alan Minter on his record. He doesn't even have Alan Minter on his record. Who does he have?
This is my counter. Again, if you are a dude that's stuck on nostalgia, they'll never live up, right? But for Triple G, Canelo can be whoever you want him to be, whether that's Hearns or Leonard. For Triple G, Jacobs represents that. And then Charlo represents the last name. Or Murata represents yet another name. Like, okay, they don't have the accomplishments of Sugar Ray, because not everyone wins a gold medal. The last dude to do that was Ward. But you got to understand that you only represent a certain portion of boxing fans. And there are a lot of people that believe Canelo lost the first fight and even lost the second fight. I
represent the ninjas that tune into the boxing voice. Like, this is the kind of fan I am. So
I hear you, but even
this is who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to ESPN or if I'm talking to Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, like, I'll go watch those shows are on, I think, right now. I'm having a boxing discussion with educated fans. You know what I mean?
But Maestro,
I wish that it could be separated that way. But it really. Go ahead.
But Maestro, even on this platform, people debate whether he lost or won those 2 fights. Like,
there are people that call and say shit every day.
They still think. They still think. Dude,
I'm not saying his shit. I'm just saying he's not what all of the HBO and ESPN.
Oh, I agree.
And Raphael and all these other people hype him up to be.
I mean,
look, if he needs a little tune-up fight, Canelo, because he wants to fight again in December, okay, throw him some bones, you know, let the lion go after it, and, you know, pick every last bit of meat off of Triple G, whatever.
Damn, you think Triple G's yeardom level?
Look how long Zarameta took him. Zarameta look better against Triple G than he did against Munguia. Look how I thought he lost the Derevyanchenko fight. If I'm going to be honest,
a lot of people.
I'm like a hater, but
a lot of people did.
I think Derevyanchenko beat him. Like, what has Triple G done since he last fought Canelo? What does Steve Rolls count?
Nothing.
From Canada that nobody ever even heard of.
He's done nothing
that's the
since
point.
then.
I think the point is he's yet to definitively be beat by Canelo.
He's regressed. Canelo's progressed.
Absolutely.
That is a recipe for total destruction of Triple G. And
But the problem is only like 10% of boxing fans know that because literally that's the percentage of hardcores out there.
No, but
we have to go ahead.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I didn't want to cut off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying we have to also understand that, you know, casual boxing fans don't know how good or bad Steve Rolls were. They just seen an undefeated dude or a dude with 1 loss. And same thing for Zarameta, whatever his record represented to the casual. It is us that know that. But again, for us, the decision isn't made by what has he done lately. And by us, I'm generalizing myself with some of these weird boxing fans because I don't agree with this. But I understand it's kind of a general consensus that we need a definitive answer. There still are some people that believe he won and some believe that he lost. And, you know, I get you on the HBO and ESPN propaganda and the machine of Triple G. But, like, in retrospect, Maestro, you can't fucking admit.
Hold that against him?
No. You can't admit that they were right?
No, they were right. If you look at who Canelo was fighting, if you look at who Triple G was fighting at the time when a young Canelo was taking on guys like Floyd, it's honestly embarrassing to even compare the two. It literally is. Like, go up and down BoxRec and look at who Triple G was fighting when they said,
allow me to debate, though.
I'm on it. You want me to give you the names?
No. Hold on. Allow me to debate because he seems to be forgetting the era of Triple G. He's acting,
I think so.
He's acting as if Triple G was Canelo. No, Triple G wasn't a darling, and yes, he had the network behind him, but guess what wasn't behind him? The fighters. They didn't want to fight him.
They didn't want to fight him. That's what he's going to be more known for, I think.
Peter Quillin was offered the fight when he was with HBO.
Yes.
I mean, there's plenty of fighters that were offered
Sergio
to fight.
Martinez, Miguel Cotto.
And there was also plenty of fighters that weren't even approved by HBO because they weren't worthy. But, you know, Sanchez had
Martirosyan, right? Like Vanes Martirosyan. Is he one of these guys?
That wasn't worthy?
Wait a second, because you guys are seeming to forget that Triple G ducked the Derevyanchenko. Triple G ducked him. He got stripped of his title because he didn't want to fight Derevyanchenko. And who did he take on instead of Derevyanchenko? Martirosyan.
I was live at that.
What are we talking about, guys?
Yeah,
it's smoke and mirrors.
No. That response was smoke and mirrors. You're acting like we didn't live through that era. You're acting like I didn't know Triple G purposely let the IBF go because he was not going to jeopardize a Canelo fight, which he got.
He fought Martirosyan between the two Canelo fights.
Maestro wants to laugh at Triple G for letting go of a belt, right? Hence, in retrospect, he still fought Derevyanchenko for more money for the same belt, but he intelligently let the belt go, took on Martirosyan, and got his number 2 Canelo biggest fight. Like, he didn't duck. It's
Miguel
business.
Cotto did the same thing at 140, and his record is spotless there.
He didn't want to risk getting what happened to him in the Derevyanchenko fight back in 2000. When was it? 2018. He didn't want that to happen then.
Exactly.
He knew there was a shot that Deverenchenko was going to be a banana skin, as they say out there in England, and mess up his rematch with Alvarez. That's fact.
Absolutely.
You could say that Charlo's doing the same thing. You could sit here and we could pick apart anybody and say that they're holding on for the big fight. You could say Ellis Lance doing the same.
The difference is I haven't seen Charlo Canelo twice.
We're also saying the same thing. We're also saying the same thing. We're also still saying the same thing. No matter how you put it, Triple G is waiting for his Canelo opportunity. Charlo's waiting for his Canelo opportunity. Look at the resume of Andre. If you're laughing at Triple G, you're trying to make Triple G be this nobody that doesn't deserve a shot. Well, then you just made the case for Andre and Charlo not getting the shot.
Look, I've been saying it about Andre for a while.
And Charlo, and Charlo, and Murata. Charlo, Murata, Robert Grant.
We can't loop all of these three guys together. We just can't.
I think you can.
They all have the same resume.
The only argument is who's waiting for Canelo. I think that you could lump them all in.
Canelo, that's for sure. They all want Canelo, but here's the thing. Boo Boo's on record on Ringside Reporter in an interview saying that he wouldn't go out to Tokyo to fight Murata, that he wants Murata to go over there to a minor league hockey arena called the Dunkin' Donuts Center, I believe, over there in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Go over there. Are you fucking kidding me? So, these guys are like the middleweight division to me, honestly, guys, is probably the second worst in boxing after the welterweights in terms of us not seeing the fights we want to get. All I'm saying is that rather than recycle some old shit that I've already seen, right, that's going to be less competitive than last time, let's start talking about better fights, bigger fights.
Like who? Because you put your foot in your mouth by shitting on Triple G. So what's a better fight?
I've already said it at the beginning. I'd much rather see Canelo take on Beterbiev at 175. That's a much more intriguing fight than a third Triple G fight.
You're trying to get my boy killed.
You are undercover. 175.
He's an undercover Canelo hater.
According to Eddie Hearn, he's willing to do it, guys.
Undercover Canelo hater. You can let him do it.
You can let everybody though.
Yeah, you can let him do it. You can't demand. You can't insist. You can't demand and insist that a 140-pounder move up to 175. Why didn't you force fucking Crawford to move up to 60 or at least 54? At least 54. When they do it, we'll ask Canelo to do it. Guess what? A second fucking time? Damn, Maestro. He just
not
did
asking him to do it. He said he would do it.
No, and you are asking.
That got me excited about it.
No.
If you want to talk about Crawford,
Gervonta Davis said he'll fight Lomachenko. Gervonta Davis said he'll beat Devin Haney. Gervonta Davis said he'll fucking beat everybody. Ain't nobody pushing or asking him to do that, right? Like, you can say what you want. It's still up to you to fight who you want, especially if you're gonna fight out your division. Like, you want him to do it. You want him to do it a second time. Let me tell you something. Since you want to name drop interviews, right? You want him to do it a second time, right? Ronnie Shields said on this show that he didn't think Jermell could move up on that day and beat Kovalev the way that Canelo did. So and Andre said he wouldn't move up to 75. So like, why does Canelo got to do it twice? Why?
I'm not saying Canelo has to do it. I'm saying Canelo said he wanted to do it according to Eddie Hearn.
Until he does it, right? Yeah. Because it's not a mandatory thing. It's not up to us. That's him giving us a fucking treat. That's him showing us I'm special.
And by the way, that's him taking less money than the Triple G fight. The Triple G fight, everybody keeps talking about, like, what has Triple G done? Let me tell you what he actually did. He captured the hearts and minds of the Mexican fan base in such a big way that they almost were louder for him than they were for Canelo in the buildup. Let me tell you, on Twitter, there was a group of 100 people that showed up to tailgate for that fight, all dressed in Triple G. So all I'm trying to say with that point, it's like to suggest him go and fight Beterbiev for, a fight that, let's be honest, only the three of us and our communities really know about and really know how special and important that fight is. By the way, a lot of them don't. A lot of them think Beterbiev sucks. And then to ask him to do that as opposed to stay within his division and fight a guy who he's going to make millions upon millions to fight and is going to get on ESPN to do.
I get it. But here's the thing. You want to bring up the fans of Triple G. Well, number one, he had a tremendous hype machine behind him the likes that I have not really seen in another fighter, especially a foreign fighter. I just haven't seen it.
No, that's fair.
That's unfair. That's unfair. Canelo is a foreign fighter, and he got the same, if not more.
You know what he means, though.
Nobody was capping, talking about how Canelo's got more defenses than Hagler, than Monzon, and B-Hop. I'm sorry.
Bro.
I'm sorry. I have not seen that level of cap for another foreign fighter.
Bro.
That's number one. Just wait a second, right? Ustedes hablan español, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Right?
See?
Okay, so then you can check out ESPN and David Fadelston, right?
Yeah.
Some of his biggest, or David Fadelston, I should say, some of his biggest haters are in Mexico. Some of his
absolutely
haters are in Mexico.
Yeah, but why? Why? Because he's a fucking...
Citing the fact that he's got haters in Mexico is not really, like, Juan Manuel Marquez hated on him. There was a time when other Mexican greats were hating on him.
Mexicans hate on the Mexican greats every era, though.
There you go. So, I mean, the fact is, look, will I watch a Triple G third fight? Of course I will. I'll be rooting for Canelo, right? Because, number one, I'm a fan of Canelo. I think Triple G is overhyped. And I will take that fight. I'm just saying that there were other fights that I'd want to see. And it's funny you're talking about weight class jumping, because Triple G will have to weight class jump to get this third fight. Canelo's not back to 160. He's not going back to 160.
Finally.
He's not fighting.
But that's what I'm saying, Maestro. Finally. Let's stop letting Canelo do everything. Triple G finally, when he's turning 40, is finally going to go to another division. Finally. Danny was a 2-division champion at 27 years old, Danny Garcia. Triple G is finally going to another division. And I know that adds to your argument about him being overrated slightly, but I appreciate Triple G in retrospect. Look how good Gabe Rosado has turned out to be. He just got the biggest win of his career.
Damn,
he's in
good
position
point.
to fight Jaime Munguia, and he was the first warrior to say, fuck it. I'm moving up 6 pounds to take on this dude. The dude Maestro thinks is not the goods, who thought was a hype job. He battered my boy Gabe. They're going to kill him. That's what the dad said. Or was it the trainer, Billy Briscoe? But the point is...
It was a dominating performance, no doubt. But then you also got to look at Gabe Rosado's record. Like, he has a lot of losses on the record, and he has a history of cutting really bad. So
does Orlando Salido, and that didn't stop him from becoming a world champion and having the best win on his career over Lomachenko.
I just think we're forgetting the era that Triple G was in. I mean,
I'm not
in that. I'm not saying you. Look, at the time, think about who was winning the belts. Think about who was getting, into the rankings.
Unified.
You had Daniel Gale, you had Matthew Macklin. I mean, look, I'm looking at the 2014 rankings. Let me tell you this real quick: Miguel Cotto champion, Golovkin 1, Peter Quillen 2, Martinez Sergio 3, Daniel Gale 4, Hassan Nadam 5. Martin Murray 6, Andy Lee 7, Jermaine Taylor 8, which that's crazy now thinking about it, 9 Billy Joe Saunders, and 10 Daniel Jacobs. He fought half of that list, and the other half refused to fight him. I think that he has cemented himself as one of the best middleweights of this era, whatever that represents historically.
I agree with you.
Let me get some.
Historically, that's what it is.
I'm just not agreeing with the motherfuckers that want to say that he surpassed Monzon and Hagler. And all of that stuff. I'm sorry, bro.
Maestro, you're not allowing yourself to understand the debate of that. Is Monzon got the opportunities? Listen, he just brought up Billy Joe. Billy Joe was on record almost 10 years ago saying in his press conference for Eubank that Triple G would beat him and Eubank on the same night. At his own press conference, Billy Joe Saunders said that. Now, in retrospect, look, we see that he's soft, because he got his payday and he quit boxing. So this is a dude that didn't want to give Triple G a shot. He could have had Billy Joe in 2014. You heard they was on the rankings together. But Billy told you what he felt in 2014. All I'm saying is you can't do that to him when people was ducking him.
And instead of taking on like middleweights, he's taking on Vanes and Kell Brook that had to move up from 147.
Why do you think he did that? Why do you think he did that? Why do you think he did that? You're not listening. Why do you think he did that? Why? Tell me, why do you think he did that?
You're going to say that it's because guys at 160 were ducking him. I'm sorry. There were better opponents for him that would have taken fights against him.
Who?
Where?
Who? No, let him say who.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, who?
Are you telling me that for what they paid Kell Brook, that you couldn't look up and down the middleweight rankings and find somebody to fight Triple G? Really?
Let me go ahead and give you.
Not anybody that would have, I think.
Hold on.
Your name before earlier. He didn't want to fight Deverenchenko. Deverenchenko wanted to fight him. Instead, he fought Vanes.
First of all,
Deverenchenko was his mandatory.
First of all, that's two different timelines. Allow me to debate you here, bro. You got Triple G fucked up, but he gonna learn today. You got Triple G fucked up, but you gonna learn today. First of all, let me explain something to you. The Kell Brook situation was a Chris Eubank situation. Chris Eubank Sr. got above and beyond himself and wanted to put prices on ticket seats to a Matchroom promoted card. It wasn't Matchroom and Chris Eubank Promotions. So Eddie had it up to here, and he said, get the fuck out of here. Kell Brook stepped in. Now, look, we'll use your weird hypothetical analogy about, well, offer them what they offered Brook. First of all, Eddie's putting up the money. Secondly, that's why the fight was in the UK and it was a UK pay-per-view. All the USA did was buy the USA rights. Nothing wrong with that. That ain't HBO showing he's a hype job. They've bought plenty of rights to fights like Carl Froch and other people that you can name of. Again, Triple G didn't offer Kell Brook any money. They offered him the money. So again, Peter Quillen, he didn't want to fight him, and he didn't offer him any money, okay? Daniel Jacobs took as long as he did. And when he finally fought Maestro, just to give you some revisionist history, when he finally fought, he went to war with the WBA. Listen to what I'm telling you. A fighter, right, when he finally takes his opportunity at his world championship title, he decides to say, I've been paying these sanctioning fees for 10 years, but you know what? It's time to fight Triple G. Fuck you, WBA. I need you to allow me to get more money in this fight. I don't want the regular 25% to fight that monster, even though I knew what I signed up for. I'm going to threaten not to have this fight unless you don't give me a higher percentage, even though I'm not entitled to it. Now, I don't go on record and say Jacobs ducking Triple G. No, he negotiating. Why? Because you as good as what you can negotiate. So he did what he had to do to get the fight. He still fought. These fighters are not afraid. They just want a certain amount of money for the risk. Triple G's always been risk. Now, to go to your point about why is he fighting Vanes, which is crazy to me that you even bringing this up, but 160 pounders don't want to fight him. They got to get other guys willing to move up to fight him. You keep bringing up Vanes as if he still didn't turn around and fight Derevyanchenko. Whether we thought he lost or not, he fought him. Further proving he not afraid. If you're a hype job,
I'm not saying he's afraid. I never said he's afraid.
Said he was a hype job.
What I'm saying is he wasn't confident in himself enough to that he would win the fight. That he took a 154 guy. Are you guys telling me that this entire time that he was in his middleweight reign, that Erislandy Lara would not have fought Triple G?
Absolutely. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that.
Erislandy Lara would have never fought Triple G.
Yeah. Because Maestro,
I don't think it's set in stone. He would.
Here goes some more revisionist history. See, you didn't live through that era, obviously, not deep enough. Lara asked for the fight almost every day, but refused to fight at 160. He finally fought at 160 versus Thomas Lamana for a vacant regular belt. This is the first fight at 160. He said he wanted the fight, right? Louis DeCubas, who's his manager, okay, never sent an offer. We also know that he's Louis DeCubas' fighter, but he's advised by Al Heyman, which means the fight got to take place on Laura's terms. If they don't send Triple G,
I mean, that's why the Charlo fight really didn't happen the first time.
Yo, listen. If Laura wants, let me explain something.
You've never seen a PBC fighter go and fight on DAZN? I've seen it.
Absolutely, but let me explain something. If Laura wants a fight with an HBO fighter at the time, Gennady, right? Laura would need to make an offer for the HBO fighter. The HBO fighter would then have to decline because he's on contract with HBO. HBO would have to get involved if they like the fight and counter offer Laura to come to the network. Al would have to then lend his services of his fighter like he's done in the past. But in order to get a fight, Maestro, admit that Laura needs to initiate the negotiations. Like Like Deontay Wilder
That's
did,
not
right?
initiating,
Listen,
bro. That's
listen,
not initiating.
listen. A lot of people like to take shots at Wilder for this, but Wilder initiated the negotiations. He sent the verbal contract of the $50 million, which made Eddie start sending term sheets with Shelly for actual flat fees. So again, understand it's the person asking for the fight got to initiate it. You can't just say you want to fight and you ain't doing nothing to get it. Because I can say I want to fight all day.
It's the exact reason Kovalov and Stevenson didn't happen. That fight was almost done on HBO. That fight was almost done, and then he goes to Showtime and it didn't happen.
We're belaboring the point. You think that Erislandy Lara didn't want to fight Triple G? I say that he did. So let's move on to the number 2. So here's my thing. You say there's no one at the middleweight division that wanted to fight Triple G. So he had to fight welterweights. He had to fight guys at 154. You guys are forgetting the fact that his management team was like, oh, he'll beat anybody between 154 and 168. He's still
right.
That.
Yeah,
So
he also challenged Mayweather.
Right.
He also
what happened
challenged
to
Mayweather.
168 dudes? What happened to Andre Ward? What happened to all of the other people?
He
at
ducked
168?
Stuck his foot in his mouth.
He ducked Ward.
He stuck his foot in his mouth. You're absolutely right. 100%.
They said that we will fight anyone and beat anyone from 154 to 150 to 168.
He ducked Andre
But
Ward. There's
Maestro,
nothing more to say.
Let me finish and then you could go.
Go ahead.
But yet he's having to fight Kell Brook, a 147, having to fight Vanes, a last-minute 154 replacement. Why didn't he just go up and fight a 168-pounder? He's so great. He's such an all-time great. He's better than Monzon. He's better than Hagler. He's better than B-Hop. But wait a second. Yet he's got to take on welterweights and junior welterweights and not challenge himself against guys who he said he can beat? Come on, man. Like, the level of capping for Triple G, like, I just don't understand it. So now it's not just HBO and ESPN. Now I got to bring the boxing voice into this. So now we got the trifecta of the Triple G hype machine.
Yeah. So my counter is 168, he did duck Ward. He didn't want that. It would have been his first pay-per-view at the time. He didn't want that fight. And I understood. Not at the time, I didn't. It is a clear duck, but he wanted to stay undefeated for Canelo. He was
Cotto at
and
the
he
time.
was bringing. Yeah, those guys were coming up, so it was an easier fight than him going up. That being said, there were fights at 68 that he tried to make that didn't happen. I don't know if you know. He tried to do the Julio Cesar Chavez at 68 and the Gilberto Ramirez fight. Unfortunately, Ramirez was with Top Rank, and they were giving him very underqualified names at the time. So
They were giving him good money in shit fights. Yeah.
it just didn't make sense for the matchmakers at Top Rank to put him in there with Triple G.
Who secretly wanted Canelo the whole time, by the way.
Yeah. So
His whole career is wanting Canelo. You want Canelo so bad, but then you're accusing him of being a dope fiend and all type, not dope fiend, but a PED user and a cheater and all of this stuff. My man, I wouldn't have even given him the second fight after all of that shit. Like, he's lucky he got a second opportunity. Now now we're talking about giving him a third. Like, come on, man.
That right there, that statement shows how hard you are being on him, because it's like to suggest that Canelo to a certain degree didn't need that rematch. It didn't need Triple G's scalp on it. Like, regardless of how you feel or how anyone feels about Triple G, he represented something at this era.
Nemesis.
He represented the foil to Canelo, and everybody had it. Cotto had Margarito. Mayweather had De La Hoya. Like, everybody has their foe. All Batmans have their jokers, and that was
That's the question right now, right? When Chris Eubank fell out, why didn't he fight George Groves? Why were they looking at 147 guys?
George Groves crazy.
I don't think it was that they were looking at anybody.
Why didn't he fight George Groves from London in London? Why did they pull out a welterweight from Sheffield in the north of England so that the Sheffield dude who's undersized would get his ass beat by Triple G? They create highlight reels of this guy beating Kell Brook. Why didn't he fight George Groves? George Groves is an English fighter. Why didn't he fight Badu Jack? You don't think Badu Jack would have taken on Triple G? Like, I could give you so many names of people between 160 and 168 that they never even talked about him fighting. Why? Because that was all hype. He was never going to take on 168 pounders. It was all guys at 147 and 154 and Canelo, and that's it.
You did understand my example of Eddie being in charge, right? And that being his promotion and his pay-per-view.
Does Eddie Hearn not work with George Groves?
Again,
Promote one of the biggest fights ever at Wembley between George Groves and Carl Frosch.
But you got to understand that Brook and Groves are not the same caliber of name. They're not the same. Go ahead now.
He's also not understanding.
George Groves is a huge star in London. They filled.
No one's debating it. No one's debating it.
Filled Wembley Stadium for him to fight there. The only reason that Kell Brook was a draw in London was because he fought Triple G.
Listen,
in Sheffield, you don't fight in London.
He had an undefeated record at the time too, by the way.
George Groves is a way bigger star in London than Kell Brook.
Right now.
At that time.
Oh man, I don't know. I think you're a little bit.
Ask people in the chat.
Chat, listen. There's plenty of UK guys in there. Y'all let us know because I can't. Listen, if you wanted to make that argument now based on where they're at, fine. I could see that, but at the time, being still undefeated, I don't think so. What was that, 2015, 14, something like that?
I've seen comments in the chat. I never said he was promoted by Eddie. I said he worked with Eddie. Eddie promoted Carl Frosch.
But that's
Eddie in that fight.
But that's what you won't let me get off. Like, you're not like digesting the debate of it's Eddie's promotion, bro. Like, understand, right? Like, you want to fight Mario, and we announce a press conference. We're selling tickets, and Mario pulls out. It's you and your promoter who picked the opponent, not you're on mute. Does he know he's on mute, or am I not looking at him?
I don't think he's on mute. I think he's
Sorry. I said let me go get anybody to fight. Let's get the school teacher like me, or let's get the sanitation worker, or let's get the firefighter, the policeman.
No.
I'll get whoever I want, and then I'm going to sell this as this guy's one of the greatest middleweights of all time.
No. He's trying to show you what happened in the promotion.
This guy's better than B-Hop. Look at all of these title defenses.
That's not what he's saying, though.
No, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. We just got to move on. He's not getting it. He's not getting it. But
Earthquake said Brooks, the UK's unwanted stepchild. You're fucked up, bro.
Let me get to some super chats.
Yeah, there was a few that we missed.
We stopped at Zeno, right? Where he says agree with the draw, right?
Yeah. I think Luis Garcia's the next, but I'm not sure.
All right, let me just refresh here and take it from the top. Wow, Maestro, you shocked me. I can't believe you don't get that. But we got.
No, I got what you're saying. I just don't want to play to the rules of your debate game. I was purposely not responding to exactly what you were saying. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Because
we were two different discussions. Honestly, I was saying that Triple G ain't all that he's cracked up to be. That's all. My whole thing. And you were saying that essentially he was a good middleweight of that era because there was no one to fight. So it was two different discussions happening at the same time. That's what it was.
There were plenty of people to fight. That's my debate. They wanted career ending pay, like they wanted lifetime career high paydays. That's what Billy Joe got, right? He finally got it, and now he's done. This is what they wanted to fight Triple G, and it was crazy. And let's think about Andre. Like, he had a lot of energy now to move up. He never wanted to move up when he was at 54 on HBO, fighting the likes of Brian Rhodes and Willie Nelson. He could have said, man, these 54-pounders ducking me. Charlo brothers is ducking me. I'm fucking going to 60. I want Triple G. He the boogeyman. I want Canelo. Why don't I want Triple G? You got some weird energy on Triple G, but that's cool. I'm loving you. I love that you're the counter to me. You don't like, you're a secret Canelo hater and a Triple G hater. I'm
not a Canelo hater. I'm not a Canelo hater.
I didn't get the Canelo hating.
He secretly hated on Canelo.
Now let me explain it for you. He's saying that I'm a Canelo hater because I'm saying that I'd like to see him fight Baturviev at 175.
Yeah.
And
got it. Yeah, I remember.
I'm a secret Canelo hater. But no, I didn't. I'm not the one who suggested that. According to Eddie Hearn, and you guys are closer to Eddie Hearn than I'll ever be because you've had him on your show before. According to Eddie Hearn, he said that if he can't get the fight that he wants, which is the undisputed 168, that he'd like to test himself against Beterbiev. I didn't say that. Eddie Hearn said that.
You're absolutely right. It was Eddie Hearn, but only a secret Canelo hater would dismiss one of the biggest wins on his career, right? And laugh off a trilogy, which not many people get to do, and it automatically puts you in history, and then suggest for that same fighter to move up another weight class versus one of the most dangerous punchers in that division.
I think the Callum Smith victory was a better victory. And I think the other victories that were better victories in the Triple G victory. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but what's time going to say? Because Manny Pacquiao, I could give you 4 or 5 guys that were better than the Morales, in the last Morales fight. But, he needed it. He needed to do what he did to Morales and have that clip play till the end of time. Put it on a fucking Bitcoin, or what do they put it on now? Or whatever they put it on. That hologram shit. NFT. Put it on an NFT because it'll last forever. I feel like to a degree, Canelo would benefit historically from having that same kind of footage on Triple G, because to this point, anytime you bring him up, people are going to say, "Oh, he won the first. Oh man, Triple G won that second fight." Until he dismantles him, they're never going to be done with his name.
The funny thing is, the biggest undercover, hidden Triple G hater is the man I'm looking at right now, Ness. Because he wants Triple G to get absolutely destroyed by Canelo.
I do. I want Canelo to knock him out this time so that there's no debate.
I think he needs to.
There's still a debate. Listen, we're going to have some callers call in from, I think, the New Orleans, which will say that Canelo lost to Triple G.
Both fights.
You understand? And, right, you are mad at Triple G for saying Canelo possibly cheated, where those same callers will agree that Canelo cheated. They call him clenbuterol or Canelo buterol, whatever they call him.
I'm just saying, if somebody's accusing me of that, they ain't getting a rematch. Not after I've taken the hair follicle test and showed receipts of after I ate where they did tests on the meat and there was clearly clenbuterol. Everybody knows that the Mexican look, first of all, it's his fault because he eats meat. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. So that's number one. But if you're going to eat meat, obviously it's known that in Mexico they use clenbuterol. They do in the meat. So you do have to apportion some blame to Canelo. He does eat animals. But at the end of the day, it's clear that the Mexican cattle industry uses that particular drug in its cattle, and that it's well known that people in Mexico have that in their system as a result.
It's actually only in certain parts geographically, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I just don't think, I don't know. I don't want to turn that debate.
Let me tell you something, Maestro.
Yeah, let's go down that wormhole.
Oh,
exactly.
No, too late, buddy. Too late. You have officially crossed over to the dark side. Let me tell you, you are going to receive so much hate right now for justifying that positive result. You don't even wait. Just wait for it. Wait for these callers.
Okay, that's fine.
They don't like that. They don't like that. You just became a Canelo defender. It's over. Wow, you're so many things on one show. He's a hater secretly, defending him on the PEDs, dislikes the Gennady fight. This guy's bringing some pain, man. You guys, they're going to be coming for you. We got a $10. Okay, $10 super chat from Sir Molly Mall, who says, Ness, it's not important what Canelo thinks. He didn't come out public because he was the beneficiary of a crazy card, Mayweather draw, GGG, 118-110. Nello never rematched a close fight. He won. He was in Mel's shoes before. So you see, this is a guy that he's not even on topic with us, but he's secretly on topic saying that he doesn't give rematches. You understand? He doesn't give rematches to close fights. So he wants the Triple G fight because look at the scorecard he's bringing up. And then he's telling you even the Laura fight deserves one because that's another close fight. So again, it just further proves that people want that Triple G fight. They felt that there was some controversy there, some maybe Canelo A side doing with the scorecards. We got another one from Will Lynch, $4.99. Where are we? Will, you got a few here. First one is, boom. I always bet against the so-called GWH. Since YouTube doesn't like the actual term, it's never lost me money. Laughing out loud. Oh, I know what GWH means. Great White Hope. So he's betting against. I mean, he's betting Plant. He's betting Plant over Canelo. Wow. And you see, that's part of this world.
I hope whoever's going to call in about this Canelo thing knows at least a little bit about science and talk to me in terms of
not at all.
That's not going to matter. The
That's
science
not gonna
doesn't
happen.
matter.
and can talk to me in terms of nanograms to milliliters and that kind of stuff.
Be
Because
very,
No.
very
if you don't
disappointed.
understand science, there's no point in this because you got to understand the levels of clenbuterol that were actually in Canelo's system and got to understand whether or not that would have had an effect. And you got to understand the lifespan and the metabolic rate of clenbuterol in somebody's bloodstream. So, look, if you want to get into a science discussion about it, let's go. But if you just call in and talk about, Canelo's a cheater because Canelo had clenbuterol in his blood, nah, bro, that's not going to work today.
Truthfully, the markers that they have set at the Olympic level, boxing, whatever, are like never levels that would actually, benefit to a super degree. What it is the reason why they have them at that level is because it's a level that'll give them a certain amount of time that would be coming out of their system and keep it in that range with when they're going to perform. You know what I mean? So that's a good point.
You know how you refute that? You refute that by having hair follicle testing. Because the lifespan of the drug in the hair follicle system,
it's longer, right?
Longer and is detectable, whereas in the blood it goes away. And you know what Canelo did? He provided a hair follicle sample to establish that shit wasn't in his blood at the time when it would have been a big boost to his performance in training. So again, like if people want to have a discussion about this, that's fine, but you got to bring the science to this debate. It just can't be ad hominem attacks against Canelo because that ain't gonna work. Not against me.
I love it.
And the other thing is, you probably should know what those things do to the body.
Thank you, man, because I didn't go research all the nanograms. You about to kill these Canelo haters, even though you're a secret Canelo hater.
He's never gonna let that go. By the way,
no, he's one. But I love it that he's gonna be able to defend them on the clenbuterol. But they're gonna come at you.
That's a dope shirt, by the way.
They're gonna come at you with this, Maestro. They're gonna say that it was low. The trace amounts are low because he was cycled off. It wasn't even supposed to show up,
which is refutable by the hair follicle.
By the hair follicle, yeah, it shows how
it would have appeared in his hair follicle. The cycling off example works, and it works great if you only submit to blood and urine analysis.
Yeah. So then the counter is going to be, but that's why the WBC all of a sudden decided to raise the levels up and follow what WADA was doing.
Well, actually, that's been done across combat sports. They did it in K1 years before. UFC did it, and they're going to use the argument about Bones Jones, and that led to the same thing. And essentially, it's the same thing in terms of star power with Canelo. But ultimately, again, if you don't know what these things do to the body, and you don't know what these numbers actually represent in terms of benefits, to an athlete. It's hard to make any case. Like now you're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
The counter is going to be, all right, Mario. So all of a sudden when Canelo tests positive, that's when the WBC decides to raise it. Why they ain't do it before or after?
I think that what we have to understand is that this isn't a Canelo thing. This is a science moving forward thing. Steroids, testing, all that stuff is still in its infancy in terms of testing and truly, cleaning up the sport. There are dirty fighters and athletes that pass tests all the time. Like it happens, whether it's masking agents or whatever, but people use, like, it's not a secret. Like this is happening. So how do we get beyond that and understanding what's right and what's fair and adjusting? Like this isn't going to be the last time that the WBC adjusts their policies and standards. It's an ever growing thing, and it's an evolution until we get to a point where we can have a true, like, look, right now, blood doping. What do you do for that? Like, does anybody know here how you prevent? Like, it's almost impossible at this point.
Mario, and to your point too, these requirements and these rules evolve. Like, it's only been recently, like
exactly
the past couple of months, that cannabis was taken off of a list.
Damn, good fucking point.
In Nevada, the literal center of combat sports in the United States. Up until like a couple months ago, very recently, you'd forfeit a fight or get disqualified, I should say, retroactively if you tested positive for what my brother seems to be doing right now. So look at what happened to Sha'Carri Richardson with the sprinter who tested positive and lost her chance at Olympics.
Yes, that's bullshit.
And now people are calling, rightfully so, for that to change because it makes no sense. Somebody pointed out in the chat that clenbuterol is really for weight cutting, right? Clenbuterol is what gets the cows lean in Mexico, which is why they use it. It's used for weight cutting more than it is for like as a performance enhancer. And again, the levels in Canelo's system are not commensurate with a weight cut, especially at that time. And again, through the hair follicle analysis, we saw that it wasn't in his system during a cycling on period. So, I mean, this has all been...
To me, that's the end of the argument. To me, that's the end of the argument. Like right there, suggesting, giving the hair follicle test, because again, if those numbers correlate with anything, they correlate with an accidental consumption of, the drug. Like that, to me, like that makes more sense than he cycled off at the right time and then they took his hair and it proved that he hadn't taken it for 3 years.
What a coincidence. What a coincidence that a professional fighter, right? What a coincidence that a professional fighter who happens to, his job is to cut weight, happens to pop for a substance that helps you cut weight. Was it a coincidence?
It wouldn't have helped him cut weight, though.
Was it a coincidence when Chavez popped for a diuretic? I mean, did Canelo prove anything? I don't know. I think, we're in America. You are guilty. You're just guilty. You have to prove your innocence. And I don't think that came across as him proving his innocence to the world.
I'm never used.
It's like, how am I ever gonna convince somebody who's super Christian that Jesus Christ isn't the Lord and Savior? It's like you cannot convince someone who believes fervently in what they believe in.
Yeah, no, you're right. People's own bias are gonna always get in the way. And like, look, at the end of the day, we can't know for certain anything. All I can say is that at this point, moving forward, we are where we are. You know what I mean? And so he hasn't tested positive since. And until he does again, there's no, you know what? I don't even want to get into that.
Let me get to these super chats then. We got Will Lynch back with another $4.99 who says, shout out to Ness. Though people think this is the boxer show, this is the boxing voice. Thank you for giving different perspective. It's more interesting. Thank you for engaging. We got Sarcasm with another one. Mario, you there or what? Or is that our guest? Is that like a guest? What's going on here? It is a guest. Who is on the line? Is this, by any chance, Antoine Russell Jr.? Is that a no? All right. All right. In the meantime, we got Sarcasm.
Have you guys talked about the best young prospect in boxing, Amilcar Vidal Jr.? Amilcar Vidal Jr.
Never heard of him.
He was fighting on the undercard. I say he's the best young prospect because we have the same first name. That's the biggest reason I give him that tag. He had a fight on the undercard. It was a close fight. It's a kid from Uruguay that fought the Ronnie Shields fighter or new fighter, Aleem. And it was a pretty close fight.
Yo, I'm going to have to talk about this guy. A couple people brought him up yesterday.
Yeah.
Emil kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I get the team, they really wanted this win. So Emil was in camp with the Cuban Herman Caicedo, the Luis Ortiz gym in Miami. That's where he was training.
Yep.
And I went to visit that gym, seen a few fighters, and Emil was there. And, me living up to my motto for the last 12 years, big, little, small, I interview them all. I never heard of Emil. He don't even know fucking English. So we get a bunch of footage on him, right? And then when we're finally done recording like 2 hours of footage is when they decide to tell us, we don't want you to upload that. So I understand. You got a fight coming up. You don't want nobody to see what you got. But the world thinks he lost. So like you ain't even want nobody to see what you got, and you lost. Like in the eyes of the public, you got to give Aleem a rematch, but he won't because Aleem isn't Gennady, you know. But yeah, that was kind of corny.
Man, I still ain't seen that fight.
It was kind of corny to me, man. Like I don't understand the mindset of these fighters. Like, yeah, you could win, man, but remember that Terrence Crawford is real. Like just winning ain't enough, man. Like I don't know how many fucking times I gotta say that. Like just winning ain't enough. Crawford's been winning. Has it been enough? I'm just saying, man. These kids gotta wake the fuck up.
No, and yeah, I mean, he went in with a big reputation as a power puncher. I don't know if the result was because of Aleem's chin, or because he
Aleem
didn't.
got blanked before.
Pardon me?
You said Aleem never got blanked before.
He did.
I mean, he did get blanked, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you got to question whether my namesake Amilcar has the power that he was, supposed to have. It could have just been an off night. I could have seen it go either way. I could have also seen a draw as a fair result. But it wasn't like a robbery, I don't think.
I need to go watch that fight. Everybody's been telling me that it was a good fight. Some people said it was the best fight.
It was all right, man. Manolo came on strong, in my opinion. But let me get to these super chats. I got sarcasm $5. If I'm Canelo, I take Plant's belt, then whoop GGG for the third money grab, retire for 2 years, return 2 years after, whoop any of these PBC cats left standing. I don't know about that retiring for 2 years. I love the fact that Canelo is willing to fight for the next 6 years till he's 36, man. That means we're going to get everything. That's why I'm not rushing that Better Be fight. And I want you to know, Maestro, I've been saying for 2 years, I feel almost like Cleo or the Oracle in the Matrix sitting on the bench. For 2 years, I've been calling Better Be will get dropped or knocked out. And David Benavidez. I finally got to tell David himself. These guys square up. And Better Beef has a shaky chin. But I've been saying for 2 years, but I'm not rushing him. Just because I could see something like Mikey Garcia and Earl don't mean I want you to go do what I said I think you can do. I just think you can do it. Don't mean you got to put yourself in that ridiculous danger when we got other 104. I ain't see Regis trying to fight. Let's get Regis in there with Better Beef. You see how crazy that sounds? You see what I'm saying? You see how crazy that sounds? Well, Mario Barrios moving up now. He gonna take on Kovalev in a return
crazy
fight?
Because I don't really understand the comparison there. So could you explain it, please? Why Regis fights at 140, Canelo fights at 168?
Canelo and Regis started at the same weight.
Yeah, but Canelo started as a 15-year-old, fam.
I mean, and who's
talking about? Are we going to talk about what guys' weights were when they were amateurs at 15?
No, we're talking about what weight they were when they were pros, like when Crawford started at 140.
Right, but Crawford did not start pro boxing at the age of 15. Like Canelo was
135.
A teenager when he started boxing. He wasn't a grown man.
All right, so you chose a different business decision. We just seen an 18-year-old pro go pro.
That's called science and human growth.
No. That's a business decision. Okay, Devin Haney turned pro at 16.
Only because I don't understand the science between an amateur and a pro. Like if both are still boxing at the age of 15.
What I'm saying, here's I'll break it down for you, Mario. If somebody turns pro at a 22-year-old and is a certain size, that's different than somebody turning pro at 15 and still being classified as a child.
Okay.
He's talking about the way he was at when he was essentially a freshman in high school.
No, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Seriously?
Yeah, we are. Maestro. Yeah, I think we are being serious, and you don't really like other sides of the argument. Danny Garcia has been fighting at 140 pounds for how many years of his natural life?
I don't know, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
I mean, I don't have the exact number, but you can imagine that it was his entire fucking amateur career.
I guarantee you that Danny Garcia was not a 140-pounder as a 15-year-old amateur.
Man,
that much I will guarantee you.
You better go check the fucking stats because Danny Garcia fought Mikey and fucking Terrence at 140. So check the stats.
As a 15-year-old?
Check the stats.
As a 15-year-old.
He was an amateur at
He
140.
was amateur a lot later than Canelo was.
Listen, I'll give you another one, right? Ward was another guy. He fought at what? Light heavyweight in the Olympics and then stood at 68 till like his entire career.
He was an Olympian as a grown man in his 20s. He
And
wasn't an Olympian at 15.
I'm still showing you people that hold their weight their entire career through the amateurs.
15-year-old, you're not from a 15-year-old.
How old was Ward at 70 when he won his gold medal?
Let me ask you something, Mario. How much did you weigh as a freshman or sophomore in high school?
Like 115, 125.
And how much did you weigh as a 22 to 24-year-old man? 115 to 125?
Oh, you trying to embarrass me? No, I'm playing. No, yeah, about 165, 170.
Oh, so you understand what I'm saying, right?
No, because Ponce de Leon stood at 126, amateurs and pros. That's what I'm showing you.
An amateur and pro, the debate is 15-year-old versus grown man.
And that you're trying to leave the debate at age when I'm showing you it's about holding weight. If you were 16 and let me just finish. If you were 16 and you held your 126-pound weight until you retired as a professional, what the fuck does it matter? You're holding the weight. If Canelo started at 140 at 15 and chose to be like Ponce and only fight at one weight, what would be the difference? He didn't hold his weight. Like other pound-for-pound stars before him, he chose to move up in weight. You have to gain weight.
I'm going to end this right now, Ness, and hopefully we can move on. Answer me this. Can Canelo make 140 right now?
Of course not.
Well, thank you. It's over.
How is it over? If
you're saying he's a legit 140, even because he's a 15-year-old, and if you're whatever weight you are at 140, you should be able to hold that weight throughout adulthood.
Okay.
Then I guess Canelo should be able to make 140 right now, right?
Okay, cool. You said it's over. Mario, I'll ask you, right? Because my thing is, if you start in your professional career at a weight and there is dozens, if not hundreds of fighters that never moved up, you can't make the argument that Canelo can't make 140 and that's the reason he's not 140. When the argument is he's not 140 because he's choosing to be a pound-for-pound great, like pound-for-pounds before him, and move up through the divisions. In order to do that, you have to gain weight. No one moves up and comes back down. The people that move up and come back down are on the history books to being the dudes that fucked up. Roy Jones, Kell Brook, Khan, names go on and on. You can't go up and go back down. It just doesn't work. Very few people could get it off. Canelo Alvarez, 75,
Pacquiao,
back to 68.
Mayweather, Canelo.
Very few people can go up and come back down. We just mentioned 4 names that would be in the books forever. Pacquiao, Canelo, Mayweather.
Great.
So it's like very few people. You're overlooking the argument to win it. It's like he's not doing what Ponce did or some small amount like an Ivan Calderon who just stood in his division, like he's going through divisions. There's other fighters like Danny. How long did he stay at 140? He wasn't able to be like Ponce and finish his career there. He had to move up. And now he wants to move to 54. But again, I'll bring up another example since you're trying to brush off Canelo's greatness. Cotto started at 140. And he fought all the way to 160. So all I'm saying is, it does matter where you start at. If you started
but
at a lower
175,
weight,
you were saying that pro grade should fight all the way up at 175. Like, come on now.
Because that's where Canelo started. And again, doesn't it sound logical now when I'm telling you Cotto started at 140 and fought as high as 160? So why is me asking Regis Prograis to move up to 175 when I just showed you 2 greats that moved up as far, right? Cotto went to 60. Right. And now we got Canelo who started at 140, went to 75. If we keep talking any longer, we'll remember someone else at 40 that has gone up.
The reason is because you're dismissing the fact that Canelo was not an amateur into his 20s and turned pro as a child.
Business decision.
I don't know anyone who weighs in their 30s or 20s what they weighed when they were a sophomore or freshman in high school. Like, he was 140 at the age of 15. Like,
no, I get it. You fill out. You go through your man
Not
whatever,
if you're disciplined. Not if you're disciplined. You stay at the weight, and I'll prove it.
You can't get around physiology.
Okay, so here's me proving it. Here's me proving it. Devin Haney started at 132. Where's he at right now?
15-year-old?
Excuse me?
As a 15-year-old, he was 132.
What weight you think he fought Ryan Garcia?
As a 15-year-old, you're saying that he was 132. Is that what you're saying?
Listen, there's no way I can know his exact weight at 15 unless we get him on the phone.
Canelo at the age of 15, supposedly being 140.
Let's call him. Listen, this is how I'm getting the weight. He started his career at 2015 at 132, brother. He beat Ryan Garcia in the amateurs at 130 or 120. We got to look it up, maybe 126. Okay.
So there's two things. Can I respond to this? Because there's two things here. The first thing is, number one, I'm talking about Canelo at the age of 15. Number two, like anyone who's fought amateur or knows about people that fight amateur knows that as an amateur, you don't have a severe weight cut like you do when you're a pro. You typically fight within about, I'd say, 10 pounds or less of your walking around weight. When I was an amateur, I fought at 178 pounds. I didn't weigh more than like 186, 187 when I wasn't fighting. That's not the same as pros. Pros weight cut like 20 pounds, sometimes more, to get down in the weight. Why? Because they're bigger men. So when you're talking about a guy who as an amateur was fighting at 132, it's totally different than a guy who has an 8-week or 12-week training camp as a man and weight cuts down to 135. But again, this is Canelo at the age of 15 when he was a child. And it's very different.
And Devin was a child, and that's why I'm bringing him up and you're dismissing him. He was a child when he started, and he's a champion at a grown man at 22 now. So he's still holding the weight. His last fight was at 135. He started at 132. Just respect that you can do it if you choose to. You trying to make excuses. Other 140-pounders can move up to 75. Devin Haney started as a child. You asked me to find you another 15-year-old, so I couldn't find a 15. I found you a 16 or a 17-year-old when he turned pro. I found you someone that still is fighting at the same weight that he was fighting in the amateurs, and you just don't want the facts. It's okay. We can move on. It's okay. Drew is with a $4.99 super chat. He says, why are you comparing 12-round fighters to 15-round fighters? Why are you getting mad at the media doing their job to compare and hype? Dazn. Damn, but you're not even from the UK. That was an American $5. But that's for you, Maestro. With you comparing Monzon and Hagler and Leonard.
I don't. Maybe.
Technically, you said HBO did that.
Maybe my brother in the chat. I don't know who it was. If you could throw that up again, so I could address him.
Drew. I will screen share right
respectfully
now
with his name. But I guess my brother missed the fact that I was saying that HBO and ESPN and these other outlets were saying that. I wasn't the one comparing him to Monzon and Hagler. These people were comparing him to Monzon and Hagler, and I had a problem with them doing that. Is that a fair statement, what I just said, Mario?
No, listen, that's fair. I have a problem when, certain networks pretend like the titleists within their promotional outfit are the only titleists or the only fighters. I have a problem when, networks overhype or underhype certain people to fit their narrative. And that's a fair point. I think, though, for me personally, the reason why it doesn't bother me as much is because they did that, Gary Russell, Lomachenko. I mean, you can go through the list. They did. It's like white noise at this point for me. You know what I'm saying?
They did it with Wilder, with his consecutive defenses as heavyweights.
They made me believe in Seth Mitchell. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got me on a few of them.
ESPN did it recently with Loma before the Teofimo Lopez fight, talking about how he's got better stats at lightweight than Roberto Duran. Like, really?
They did it again. Like, even after the knockout. Yeah, go ahead.
You're making the case that Lomachenko's a better lightweight than Duran. Like, really? I'm not the one making these comparisons. These fools on these networks are the ones doing it. I'm just having a problem with it. That's all.
I got a super chat from Ken Stone that says, style-wise, GGG versus Canelo is much more fun than Caleb Plant fight.
Yeah, that might be true. I'd feel more comfortable saying like it's a bigger fight in terms of money. Shout out to Supermax. I saw him make that argument, but that was an argument I was going to make earlier too. I could rock with that.
I got Izzy on a super chat, and I need you guys to help me remember to go back to these super chats. I want to slide in some callers and let them get on all these debates we've talked about a lot. I got Izzy with a $5 super chat that says, my reason for wanting number 3 is I think GGG will leave it all out there in potentially his swan song. GGG gives him more than the plant as well. So another person that still wants that fight. That's what I'm telling you. There is a lot of people that want that fight. I only want it because I know Canelo is going to look great by stopping this dude. But let's go out to the streets. You know the number to call in if you want to voice your opinion. It's time to get at Maestro. Who's going to give us some fuego? Yo, let me get some air horns out here.
You a hater, dog.
I need my community. Yo.
I'm never use medicals.
He brought up the GGG.
I like clean sport.
Yo, he brought up the GGG, talking about never, he don't want to give him a fight because of that. Then he turns around, calls Canelo clean. What? I don't know.
Say what?
I was the only one defending Canelo like that, man. I can't wait to hear what they got to say, man. 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, you can also add Nestor Gibbs on Skype from anywhere in the world.
And please, if you're on Blog Talk, you push 1, just leave it. Unless you're no longer going to talk, please don't. I mean, because it makes me have to redo the number every time.
Yeah, and it takes you out the queue too. Then
it takes you out the queue. Exactly.
You're last. You're gonna be last. You don't want to be last. De último. But if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. It's going to put this show in the eyes of other Canelo lovers. They'll get to see Maestro. Then you can follow him on his YouTube channel at
Maestro A Boxing. I just posted it in the chat. Check me out. I go live Mondays at 8 with my brother from Washington Heights, Kenny T. Every night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on my channel.
Damn,
for Mano Live.
The Heights. Shout out to Kenny T. We haven't met, but I would love to hear that. I heard one of your episodes, actually, but it was more than just Kenny T on. I think I've seen G Funky there as well. But don't forget to add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation. Let's get on out to some of these callers. Guys, remind me we got some more super chats to get to, so I want to mix in some then go back. We're going to start with Cincinnati.
Hey, whole nother time zone. Jumped up for back with our mind on. Can't play when you here, get your life stole. If you bring it here, then the price grow. Folks jabbing and punching the line long. I drop a pitch and let 9 go. We slap with the fake glass and white go. This only happens in Ohio.
Yo, Ness, what's going on, good brother?
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Chilling. Shout out to Mario and Maestro.
Get back on the mic, Chip. You just went like in another stratosphere.
Salute, fam. Thanks for calling in.
What up, champ?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Nah, you don't sound right.
Hold on a second. I still sound bad?
You sound far.
It just sounds like you're on a speakerphone, but I can hear you.
Sound worse than a speaker to me.
What about now?
Nah, man. You sound
it's weird because you came on really great.
Yeah,
it sounded awesome, and then it went away.
All right, come back to me. Let me try to fix it.
All right. I think he got a new mic. We going out to Seattle, Washington. Are you available if I play this intro, man? Seattle.
Yo. Mr. PPC, baby.
BoxingVoice.com. I'm the flyest. Canelo talking about he believes he can win. Go to my kitchen. Get the sharpest knife and cut the bullshit out. I don't care what you do good. I do every fucking thing great.
Mr. PPC, baby.
Dominic. Oh, good.
Yo, it's my bad. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
We hear you.
Yeah, it was a good night of boxing on Saturday. Shout out to Rolly, just rolling on him, rolling them punches. But Charlo, I don't know, maybe he just not good at confrontations. It just seems like when he gets into some of these boxers, his eyeballs don't really fit in his head that much. But I can't wait to see the rematch. I think that he can definitely do it in the rematch. That fighter wasn't that skilled. He was only skilled on the ropes. But if he keeps in the center, he'll definitely win and keep the jab in between his arms. That's my call.
All right.
I mean, I'm hoping we see a rematch too, but we do have the mandatories that probably need to be taken care of in the interim. So I'm not going to hate if we see in the interim Lubin get a shot at Charlo, although we did see it before, but he's up. And more importantly, I wouldn't mind seeing Castaño against Tim Tszyu if they could sort that in Australia, because he's mandatory. Yep.
Maestro, can I ask you a question? Would you prefer for them to fight their mandatories in the hopes that rematch takes place sometime after them, or would you prefer, which I know this is a very unlikely scenario, would you be okay, or would you prefer them to drop the belts, fight at 160, and do the rematch immediately?
I mean, to me, part of the prestige of this fight was that it was for an undisputed title.
Agreed.
So I would much rather see it that way. And I mean, if they really want to do it as a double header, right? With a main event and a co-main where you...
Oh, you're talking that old school promotion now. I love it.
Absolutely. Where you tease fans by having all of the fighters on the same card with the winners facing off against the winner. And you could even do losers versus losers in the pay-per-view. That would be great.
Let me tell you, I was 8 years old remembering that you look for the undercard if you want to know who the main event's next fighter was. Absolutely. I was 8 and I remember knowing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a straight promotion.
100%.
All right, let me get to Izzy in Oklahoma. What's up? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I want to say I appreciate Maestro's take on things. I don't agree on a couple things, but I do appreciate.
Shit, sorry, brother. My bad.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think we need different takes, and that's one of the first times I've heard somebody actually calling for some of these mandatories as opposed to directly going into that rematch. And I didn't even think about that take until you just said it. So again, appreciate your voice. I think it's a good one, and we need some differing opinions, or else it's all just homogenous and boring. So that ain't boxing. So that's all. I'm just listening. Good show.
All right, Oklahoma.
Hey, brother, appreciate that.
Stand up. Let me mix
in. Shout out to Ness for allowing me the platform to debate.
No, absolutely, man. I actually really appreciate you, man. It's good to hear the other side, like he said, because I feel like I used to knock Triple G, but it's just like retrospect, man. He's fought pretty much everybody, and so the fight with Derevyanchenko didn't look great, but Derevyanchenko, he's a good guy. He's a good fighter. You know what I mean?
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and he's fought a lot of guys in a very short amount of time. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves, unfortunately. But we last stopped off on Izzy, not only on call, but I believe on Super Chat. So we're going to JM0, who says, you can't blame Triple G for his resume. He can't make people sign to fight him. I agree his resume is lacking, but you can't blame him. And that's kind of where I'm at, man. I watched Peter Quillen come up. He was on HBO. He chose to go with Al, and I get it. Like Al led you to be a millionaire, but that fight was on the table. People wanted that fight when he was undefeated. He went the PBC route and did the big Brooklyn fight because they had the Barclays Center deal when Golden Boy first got that. But
Ness, just real quick, you were right. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia in 3 of the 4 fights took place at 60 kilograms, which is 132.277 according to Google, because US uses.
Yo, what's the age? What's the date of the first one so we can murder Maestro? Kid was
really
probably
got
13.
Me out here like Jamie. You think you
was
Joe
13.
Rogan and I'm Jamie out here.
Nah, you ain't Jamie.
I got you.
But here's the thing, Ness. I've already said it twice. Number one, Canelo was a teenager. I think I said it more than twice. Canelo was a teenager, but also I gave the example of amateur boxing.
So is AD.
In an amateur tournament, you weigh in the day that you fight. You don't have the weight cut and the ability to rehydrate like you do in the pros. A guy fighting at 132 as an amateur is the equivalent of probably a guy fighting at 122 maybe as a pro. Seriously, it is. There's a reason why Sean Porter fought at 160 as an amateur and fought at 140 as a pro. It's science, dog. And as for what the guy just chatted, I agree. You can't blame Canelo for the people that were in his era and were fighting in his era. I agree with that 100%, but that's all the more reason why you should not be capping and saying that he's better than Monzon and Hagler and these other guys. Just be real about who he is and who he fought. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, yo, understand that I never brought up Canelo's amateur weight. So finding Devin Haney's or any fighter's equivalent amateur weight really is irrelevant in this conversation. I've allowed you to insert that by accident, but just sitting here thinking like the amateur weight is irrelevant. What's relevant is the weight that you start at. The weight that you start at. And we found another teenager who started at a weight and is still fighting at it. That's all that matters. Because I don't know Canelo's. I never watched Canelo's amateur fights. I got put on to Canelo on HBO when he first fought Love More Than Do.
That wasn't at 140 though, Ness. You said that he started at 140.
Yeah,
and 140 was a 15-year-old. I'm not saying he fought at 140 as an amateur. I'm saying you're comparing a guy's pro weight at the age of 15 to guys that were fighting in the amateurs like Ward into their like
20s. You said 20s. That's all that matters. So I got you with the Devin, bruh. He started at 13, 14, 15. He still got the same weight as a 22-year-old man.
I'm just gonna respectfully agree to disagree with you on this one.
No, we got him, guys.
If you want to take the win off that argument, but I guarantee you, if I go to the chat, like the chat ain't gonna be.
I'm gonna do it
with that logic.
I'm gonna do it. I didn't do a poll all day. Who won? Okay. Who won? Me? Nah. Let me see. Who won? They'll do it like that, and then just put Ness. And my I need that spelling. I'm a horrible Spanish speller. Let's go.
That's okay.
Looking through my texts here. Fuck. In the meantime, JT in New Orleans, he's gonna come for you. Watch this. Ha ha! You available, champ? Here we go. He's coming. Oh my motherfucking God! You believe this? Skype restarted. That's a daily thing. I'm like, whoa, these phone lines are lit. In the meantime, we're going out to King Born in Brooklyn.
When you see old dirty bastards form a position like that, then you know that I'm getting ready to bust your...
Hear me, right?
We hear you,
Hey, yo, Ness, man. Yo, don't hold me back, man. I'm going to break this shit down culinary style. First of all, peace and power to TVB family. Peace and power to the live chat. And this how we doing it. I'm on my Gordon Ramsay and Rulagasi style, culinary style. Castaño is the Korean beef, the Korean beef 78-cent cup of noodles that you find at Walmart. He the 78-cent cup of noodles, right? And let's go to Charlo. Charlo is a plate of vegetarian beans with a strip of turkey bacon and an egg sunny side up with ketchup. Which one y'all gonna eat? You heard? Listen, if I go to Earthquake, if I go to Nest Crib, give me the Argentine noodle. Give me the Argentine noodle, right? That's how we doing it. You know what I mean? And listen, I need everybody listen up. You got what I don't want to eat. Cause you say it's a struggling meal. Cause you say it's a struggling meal. Oh, baby, you don't got what I want to eat. It's a struggling meal. It's a struggling meal. Rest in peace. Rest in power to Bismarcky. And like I said, y'all, give me Castaño, Argentinian, noodles. The noodles joint, 78 cents for Walmart. I'm not eating a plate of vegetarian beans with a strip of bacon and sunny side up with ketchup. Don't do that to me. Love y'all. Peace.
Yo, he said I'm not eating vegetarian beans with a side of bacon. That don't even make sense. Like,
Bro,
a lot of what you said made
half
no
the
sense.
chat is like, what the fuck?
But the
Yo,
other
I love
half
Born
is
Though.
the other half is like they love him. I mean,
Yeah, they love him. They don't give a shit what he said.
But I didn't
They just love
understand
him.
anything he said.
Nah, I mean, I understood that he was shouting out Bismarcky, R.I.P.
He referenced it, but I thought he was trying to make the Bismarcky song sound like something with Canelo, but it never clicked. I never got it. But
it did not.
I hear you. It looks like Maestro got all his minions to vote on the fucking poll. This poll is jinxed.
Minions.
I think that, to be honest with
Minions.
yeah, I think to be honest with you,
All
Champ,
your
like I was
fans
seeing most
came.
of the chat was just disagreeing with you anyway, Champ. But you know,
You guys rigged the poll.
hey, you live to take an L another day.
Mario,
that's
stop
good.
acting like you don't know how to rig the poll, man. You know you done it. You
Bruh,
and Maestro got down. He texted you to go ahead and cast the vote.
I'm telling you that before you put the poll out, which by the way, I love the fact that you put the poll out. There was already a consensus against you. I'm just putting it that way.
Half these people don't even know what the debate was about, and they over here voting. You shouldn't
You're
even
probably
be
right,
allowed.
though. You're probably
shouldn't
right.
even be allowed to vote. We're going to Albany, New York. What up, Antonio?
Yeah, I think Antonio. No. Yo, man, what's good, man? Yo, first of all, Castaño won that fight. Listen, man, you want to look at a fight that's just the same as this, go look at Castillo and Mayweather won, and also Maidana and Mayweather won. We got to run this shit back. And Castaño is going to beat him to the pulp, in the second fight, man. And as far as this Canelo, man, yo, he knows his right, man. He won that fight. It's the reason why he was smart enough not to sign that 3-fight deal with Al Heyman, you know. And also Triple G, man, you can't duck a fighter who's not in your weight division, man. Stop with this hate on Triple G and ducking, war years ago and shit. If he's not in your weight class, he ain't ducking, bro. The fight just couldn't happen, man. Other than that, man, just a good show. And, that's it.
All right, Antonio in Albany. JT, Skype had dropped off right when I tried to go to you, Champ. Are you still, let me see here. Are you still available? JT? All right, we're going out to you in New Orleans.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'll kill this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, let me ask you this, Ness, because you say I'm coming for him. Why would I come for this guy?
I mean, you always come for me when I say Canelo ain't test positive, that he wasn't cheating.
Oh no. Yeah, the stipulations about that. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, I feel like he cheated. With that computer roll, he used that as an excuse. With the computer roll, I was just watching the Shane Mosley fight. And I saw a big body transformation come from the Shane Mosley fight into the Canelo we have now, and a few fights before that. So, my opinion, I think Canelo cheated and stuff like that. You could come with all these analyzations. He failed 2 tests. We're not talking about the Hellfire. He failed 2 tests and stuff like that. They ain't never bring up that B sample test. So, but let's get back on topic. I kind of agree with the guy with the weight thing. Of Canelo that was a bad comparison with Regis, because Regis fought at 152 in the amateurs. Because I looked at the record, Errol Spence record, amateurs record the other day, he fought Regis twice at 152. So to bring up Regis compare Canelo is 2 different things. I agree with him about a 15-year-old.
You going in and out, JT? Speak straight into the mic.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Where all you heard?
Way better. No, we heard everything, but it was, sounding like you on a fucking walkie-talkie.
Yeah, Don't try to change no pressure. Trying to change. You trying to pull a Tyson Fury. Now it's all good, but what I agree with him on the 140 pounders. Canelo was 50. I mean, when he was 15 years old, yes, he got a lot of more weight to grow in and stuff like that. So I agree with him on that topic. I disagree with you on that next because some people just made to be small. I'm looking at some of these guys right now that's not gonna actually be no big men. But you look at some of these other kids that's gonna fill out to bigger men. So I agree with him on that topic. I disagree with him on the Canelo and computer roll because I feel like he cheated. When we noticed about Canelo used to have a lot of not weight issues. It was more like he used to fatigue in his fights a lot, and it looked like his stamina just came out of nowhere. And I just feel like when you get more muscular tone, you'll have worse issues with fatiguing and that muscle that you pack on, like because he packed more muscle than he had when he was a younger fighter. We could sit there and say that with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia don't got no ab shape, and he got older. He all of a sudden he ain't get no abs. So where all these abs came from? Canelo.
Genetics.
That's not just, no. Hold on. Wait a minute. Stop.
I can answer some of these questions. I can answer some of these questions. So,
hold on, my guy. Hold on.
The first thing is Canelo is, how old is Canelo? 31 years old, right? He fought Shane Mosley, I believe it was 9 years ago, so he would have been in his early 20s. Like, I don't know about you guys.
Excuse me, sir.
I look way different now in my 30s than I looked when I was in my 20s. Like, way different. And the reason Canelo used to gas out a lot is probably because he was doing a weight cut to get down to those weights, and he's even said it himself. He feels a lot better now at 160 and now later on now at 168 than he did when he was struggling to make 154 pounds. The last thing I'll say is that Shane Mosley is a guy who was associated with Balco and with Victor Conte, and that a lot of people that he actually admitted in court that he used performance enhancing drugs. He said he did it unknowingly. So I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, just for the future, let them finish their call. Obviously, we got
My
the
fault,
time
bro.
to rebut.
Sorry about that.
JT, I'm gonna give you back, like 20 seconds because that's really all you had. So go for
All
it.
right, this my thing. Like we all title up here. At the end of the day, I just feel that I could go back probably further than that. Yes, she probably had a different body type. I think he took something to get that more defined stage that he had. I'm not sure now he's a Mexican fighter and stuff like that. He had a soft body coming up. Maybe it's the genetics. I disagree with the genetics. I think he took something for both of those, for his stamina and all that, etc. I mean, but we could go on and back and forth about it. I could talk about Triple G, and this my thing with you, Ness. You sit there and say Triple G was avoiding by a lot of fighters.
He was avoided by a lot of fighters, champ. That's a fact.
Martinez.
We got Count Drago with a $2 super chat that says, to be fair, Martinez, Cotto, and Canelo duck prime Triple G. There you go. That's someone else.
That's okay. Martinez and Cotto, fine, but Canelo ducked prime Triple G. So Triple G's prime ran out in like 18 months? That's weird.
I just don't get, Antonio called in and said Triple G don't get called a duck for not moving up because Ward wasn't in his division, which is a very valid argument that, I've even used in the past and I'm using it now. Like, you can't call Canelo a duck when it comes to Triple G when Canelo was at 54. Triple G was begging for Canelo to move up. He was begging for Canelo to move up. Like, Canelo was at 54, and then he was at 55 with a catch weight from Cotto. Like, Triple G was the one begging because he understands that was the fight that represented the most money and opportunity for him. So, that's where that's at. We got another super chat, though, from Luis Garcia, who says, Canelo will fight in Vegas September 18th, no matter what. Yes or no? Yeah, I think yes. The show's going to move on with Canelo no matter what. Whether it's, I don't know that it's Vegas, though. I don't know that it's Vegas.
I agree. I think that it depends who it is, but that date he's going to go. They've already, and this is what I was hoping to ask.
They got a backup plan, remember?
Yeah, they've already got
Eddie
two backup plans from what I hear. I have a few people close to the subject that said that they have for the last 2 weeks been working on backup plans. Multiple backup plans is the exact quote. I was hoping.
And Ness, can I share something from my notes real quick?
Sure.
Because I do keep some notes on different topics, and I got one on that proves essentially that Martinez did not abduct Triple G under any circumstances. So basically, Martinez won the WBC title by beating Kelly Pavlik in April 2010, and 4 months later, Triple G was barely even fighting for the vacant interim WBA title. Fast forward to September 2012, a fight that many of us credit Sergio Martinez as his last good performance, and it actually ruined Chavez Jr., right? At that time, Triple G was barely fighting for the vacant WBA regular title, which we all consider to be a fake belt. So fast forward now to June of 2014, which was the fight Martinez basically was already shot and basically sold the torch over to Cotto. What was Triple G doing back then? He was still fighting for the vacant WBA regular title, and it was only a month later that he beat Daniel Gale and was elevated to WBA super champ. So at no point in anything resembling Martinez's prime or his time as a WBC belt holder or champion could it be said that he ducked Triple G. It's just not consistent with the facts.
So here's the only I'm not gonna say you're wrong because those are valid points, but the one counter I'll say is this: for whatever Triple G his accolades were in the ring or lack thereof, there was a consensus. So a bunch of writers got together, right, led by Thomas Hauser, and they did this giant tournament on paper. Do you remember that or
Absolutely.
No, I know you knew, but
yes.
Okay. So do you remember that Triple G won that tournament at a time when very few hardcores knew who the fuck Triple G was, and months later, it was that was all that anybody would ask Sergio Martinez about. You know, anybody in the middleweight with a title was being hounded. Are you going to fight Triple G? Would you fight Triple G? When are you going to fight Triple G? So the only point I'll make in there is like, even if the accolades didn't match up, which I agree, you're absolutely right, there was a consensus. Okay, but let me put it this way. The hype train that you're talking about with HBO and everybody else, ESPN, that's where it started. That is the keys to the hype train. So it's tough. It's tough. You could be right, but I think that was a big deal at the time, and everybody was sour grapes about it, you know, but I don't know.
I mean, he had lost to Cotto, and you guys remember he had that terrible knee injury that he fought with, right?
Sure. No, and I'm not saying I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's the time that
No, you're absolutely right. There was a reason not to fight him. Yeah, of course. No. This is not Triple G ducking Ward. That's a different thing. Those are two guys in their prime. One said they'd fight, and the other tried to make it, and it didn't happen. Sergio Martinez was on his last leg, literally, trying to cash out after years of fighting the toughest fights. I mean, he fought fucking Paul Williams twice. Like, nobody wanted to fight that guy. You know, and he starched him. So, you know, I don't think he deserved to fight Triple G in the sense that he didn't deserve to be beaten as an old man with one leg.
So, I'll go.
Uh-oh.
And I'll try and piece this in for Maestro. I don't know that you lived through it more than you just read it. But what Mario says is very true about the tournament. But that's lightweight. Like, to suggest that Sergio Martinez, who at the time was an HBO fighter and exclusive to HBO, didn't duck Gennady Golovkin is almost insanity. Let me explain to not only you but the listeners of this show, who may be audience that could be casual today, how things worked maybe 10 years ago. What we're talking, or 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever the fuck amount. Because he's saying 2014, but it's more than that. There was only 2 networks really doing boxing. You know, you had your Friday night fights and maybe your Showbox, but Showtime and HBO were the premier networks. and all the big fighters were over there. Golden Boy was over there, and Gennady Golovkin was able to get in there with K2 Promotions, which belonged to Vladimir Klitschko. When Gennady got onto HBO, his first fight was Gregoris Praska, right? That was 2012 in the Turn and Stowe Casino. I was actually live at that fight. The heavyweight that David Haye beat, 7-foot dude, was there. I got to meet him in person. That was 2012, okay? His first fight. So factor now what Mario's telling you, that the writers, the big writers, right, before the internet blew up for boxing, right, before promoters were promoting on Twitter, before fights were shown on Twitter or Facebook, before fights and press conferences were on YouTube, okay? You know, this was going on, right? You had HBO promoting Gennady Golovkin as the next best thing, and then you had every print media that mattered, right? At that time, Yahoo was big with Kevin Iole. Dan Rayfield was with ESPN. Coppinger was with USA Today. Tim Starks was with Queensberry. You had Fisher always with Ring. Steve Kim was with, what was that site he was with? House of Boxing? Max Boxing. And these were huge sites, okay? Huge sites. Thomas Hauser was huge for his work with Ali, all the books that he's written. So the hype around Triple G was built by the media, but he started to prove that hype. Now, obviously, I was a detractor of Triple G. I didn't, Gregoris Praska, whatever. That dude didn't, who is he? That's how I looked at it. But he took him out. Now, it's 2012. Let's just put everything into perspective. 2012, HBO, because Maestro is, and I know I'm long-winded, but I just want to paint the picture for the audience. You're missing that point. HBO acquires Triple G. Remember that back then, this was like 6-fight deals. Remember, the last 6-fight deal they did was with Danny Jacobs. Like, these dudes back then, they were so invested in boxing. They believed in Triple G and Chocolatito. That's it. You ain't fighting nowhere else. Remember, Kovalev. Al Heyman won the purse bid for Adonis Stevenson to unify with Sergey Kovalev. He came out and said, I can't via Cafe Duva. I can't. I have a contract with HBO. So HBO was heavily invested. That being said, HBO gets themselves a 160-pounder to go with their HBO, Miguel Cotto, at 160. Their HBO, 154, and obviously the potential to go up. And remember that Thomas Hauser, the same dude that wrote this article, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of people may think, who the fuck cares about writers? He was the first writer to get hired by HBO as a consultant to make fights. So his article got him the job to push Triple G on television, okay? So then he was hired as a consultant. So now HBO is invested in Triple G. They're invested in Sergio Martinez. They're invested in Julio Cesar Chavez. And they're invested in Miguel Cotto and Canelo Alvarez.
Yep.
They want that fight with all those guys and Triple G. That's why he's on the network. So none of those guys want to say yes. So they're giving him other people to keep showing their network who he is. So now let's keep going forward, right? So Gennady beats Praska in 2012, and he fights in 2013, Gabe Rosado. Sergio Martinez in 2012, right? He's on HBO, and he fights Matthew Macklin and goes 11 rounds, knocks him out in the 12th. Macklin was down in the 7th round and the 11th round, right? And that was in 2012 of March, right? Triple G, right? He doesn't fight until the following year after the Macklin loss, right? After the Macklin win for Sergio, they try to get that fight. Sergio don't want that fight. He fights Rosado. Sergio, obviously, he's looking for bigger and better things. He paid his dues. After his Macklin fight, right, he gets the Chavez fight, which is Why? Rosado didn't happen till the following year because after Sergio beat Chavez, now we want you to fight Triple G. Nah, like I want the legend in Cotto. I want Mayweather. You know, I don't want, why? I'm going to give him an opportunity. Look up the articles with Lou DiBella. Lou was very vocal about never putting Sergio, because you talking about, oh, I got facts. No, facts are his promoter who promoted him, right? Along with Samson Lewickovic, who found him, saying on record they ain't putting him in with Gennady, that Sergio deserves opportunity at Cotto, not to be in a fight where he might get retired. So cool. He gets the biggest fight of his career. He gets to fight a son of a legend in a fight that reminds the boxing public of his father by Chavez rallying in the 12th round and almost beating Sergio. But he doesn't. It's 11-1 fight. Sergio now has the biggest name ever on his resume. We want the Gennady Golovkin fight.
I don't think, though. I think, Nessa, we got a couple things slightly confused there. I don't think that's why he fought Chavez. My memory of that is that the WBC stripped
Sebastian Zwick.
Stripped him and then gave a title opportunity to Chavez, and he was really upset about that. Wanted to go back and fight.
Let me help you.
Chavez, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Chavez is essentially handed a title.
No, you're wrong. Let me help you.
Didn't think he was entitled to.
No. Let me help you. Your mic is dominant. You never hear us when we cut you off. No, it's cool. There's nothing you can do. But let me help you. No, you're totally wrong, right? So Sergio was the champion, and because he was the champion and couldn't get the fight that he wanted with Chavez, right? He allowed himself to be placed as champion in recess, right? Sebastian Zwick and Chavez fought it because Chavez was never going to fight Sergio. You know, he knew that fight was dangerous, and he was never going to fight Sergio as the B-side. So he had to agree to be placed as champion in recess so that Chavez could fight Zwick for it on HBO. He won it, right? And then Sergio got the fight through the WBC via his affiliation with Lou DiBella. Politics, my friend. He got lucky that they blessed him. Remember that Samson, till this day, is still very cool with the WBC, who was his co-promoter along with Lou DiBella. Like, Chavez had to be swindled into that fight. He knew he was going to lose, and look at it, was 11-1. But now you beat Chavez in the end of 2012, and Gennady doesn't fight Rosado, right, until January 2013. So when Sergio beat Chavez at September of 2012, who do you think HBO was negotiating with? You don't think they was trying to make the Chavez-Gennady fight? You really going to sit here and say that?
No, I'm not saying that at all. Okay. I mean, what I was starting out by saying was that if you look at both of their records, right? Essentially, Martinez lost to Cotto, and he was obviously a very injured fighter past his prime. That was in June 2012.
But you going to 14. He ducked him in 2012, not 14. He ducked him in 2012. After September, after beating the biggest fight of your career, now you're back.
Yeah, 2014, right? So he fought. June 2014. He fought Cotto and lost, and he was obviously past it. And at that time, Triple G a month later fought Daniel Gale. So, I mean, I just don't understand.
Because you're looking at the wrong year. That's why you're not understanding. He ducked him in 2012. He ducked him for 2 full years. Listen to what I'm saying. When Sergio Martinez becomes a 2-time champion and wins the WBC in the biggest fight of his life on the biggest stage, at that time there was no bigger stage than HBO. He won the belt versus the son of a legend in a fantastic fight that the 12th round produced action, okay?
Right.
Now, HBO wants you to fight Gennady. And you don't say yes all of September, all of October, all of November, December. Gennady now has to fight 5 months later versus a 154-pounder in Rosado. And you continue to further duck him by now fighting another dude, right? Who did Sergio fight in
He fought
2000?
Martin Murray in Argentina and arguably lost that fight.
In the rain, arguably lost that fight. You didn't take the fight with Gennady again, right? Cool. You got your hometown fight. I respect you. You won the biggest fight of your career versus son of the legend. You want to go back home and show Argentina you the man. Amen. Amen. But that was 2013, March. Now, slow down. April. 1 month. Think about what you're talking about. This is the same network putting on the same division. You fight 1 month after Triple G. You fight 1 month after Triple G versus a lesser opponent, and you almost lose. Now, slow down. That's March 2027. Excuse me, March 27th, 2013. Now, Triple G, he's in
April 27th, but yeah.
April. Excuse me. Yeah, the one that fought in March. The one that fought in April. In January was Triple G. So, it was, 2 months after, right? So now Triple G fights again in March 30th. Now think about what I'm talking about. That's 30 days later is when, less than 30 days later is when Sergio fights. So now HBO wants to fight so bad after Sergio beats Chavez that they gave Triple G 2 dates in 90 days. They gave him, right? They gave him in 90 days. They gave him.
Are you sure about that?
Bro, listen to me.
No, this either. And look, the thing is, if you're saying that he decided to fight Cotto for a bigger money fight than fight Triple G in a smaller money fight, then yeah, I agree with you.
But no, it's not smaller money because the network.
Hold on.
Wrong. You're wrong. You're giving for. It's not small. The network. Look at how much money they gave Gennady and Canelo for that fight. The network is invested in Gennady. Listen to what I'm telling you. Gabe Rosado fought in March. In April. I'm fucking up the month. Slow down. I'm sorry. January 19th. HBO paid Gennady again to fight in the same year on March 30th. Two times. So they put him on the network, listen, 3 times while they put Martinez on once. Martinez fought.
No, you wrong, champ.
No, listen.
You wrong.
Listen,
Ishida,
I got it.
Ishida wasn't even on HBO.
Listen. Where was Ishida at?
It was a pay-per-view.
On what? Monaco?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm 100% positive because my dad was.
Ness, I'll agree to
tripping that was on pay-per-view.
I'll agree with this. He had the. If I can agree with this, I don't know all of the facts because I'm not in any of these camps, but it's obvious that he fought Cotto in a big money fight, and that was essentially the last fight of his career. He was an injured champ. He dropped the title to Cotto. If you're saying that there might have been a possibility that he could have fought Triple G, then okay, but like to me, that does not indicate that this guy's a ducker and he was ducking Triple G nonstop. And look, you're talking about an aging champion who fought against one of the biggest names of the sport in Miguel Cotto as essentially his last fight. If that makes him a ducker, well, what can I say?
It wasn't his aging, okay? And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Regardless of Nobuhiro Ishida being on pay-per-view, that only further shows the stardom of Triple G. Again, HBO still invested in 3 fights. You can't even find fighters that HBO let fight 3 times in 1 year. They fought him in January with Gabe Rosado. They fought, and then he went in Monaco and fought Ishida in March, okay? 1 month after Martinez fights, Martin Murray. Then he fights again in June on HBO versus Macklin. Then he fights again in the same year versus Curtis Stevens. Okay,
He was an active fighter.
If you go to Sergio Martinez now and you put it in retrospect, they beat Martin Murray, same opponent, but Martinez only gets 1 fight on HBO in 2013 because he refused to fight fucking Gennady. Okay? So then he gets.
I don't know that that's the reason he only got 1 fight. I don't know that, but
brother, I'm telling you, man. Listen to me.
I'll take your word for it for now, and then I'll look into it myself.
Just Google some of the what's his trainer's name? His former trainer. Yeah, man. This dude did interviews all the time with me, with the world, bro. Like, he would give lists of the dudes that turned down names, and they ain't coming out to refute it. The biggest thing they saying is, I ain't
But
taking that
we know
fight right now.
we know that fighters turn down fights for all kinds of reasons, including the money not being right. So the fact that he took on a Cotto in essentially his last fight, or took on a bigger.
Saying that. You talking 2 years later. That's ducking me for 2 years. You ducked me for 2 years. Fuck that you fought Cotto 2 years later. You stop saying that. You giving him a pass for ducking for a complete 2 fucking years.
So look.
And
so
he waited. No.
And the Murray fight were ducks?
And that's waiting. And that's waiting on Cotto. You waiting on Cotto. He was waiting on Cotto while Cotto is doing bigger shit with bigger people. Like, but okay. But then in retrospect, we telling Jermell, don't wait on Canelo. Do bigger shit with other people. Like, come on, man. We got to keep the same energy. You crazy. He ducked the shit out of him. He ducked him. His promoter's on record. You got fucking Gennadi's trainer on record. Look it up. He ducked him. It's 2 years. How do you not fight Gennady Golovkin, the only other big name middleweight on the biggest network in the world at that time? They paying him to be on the network because you there. You don't want the fight.
He was the big name middleweight fighting for interim and regular WBA titles. Like, it is what it is.
You talking about titles, man. You crazy, but I love it. I love it. I need somebody to make my blood fucking boil. I love it.
Liz, if you'll have me, I'll be back later this week for you.
Absolutely.
I'm on vacation, so I got time in the mornings. I do, though, have a meeting right now that I got to get to, but appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you too, Mario. And
give out your channel. Give out your channel again.
Yeah, it's Maestro A Boxing. Just look up my name, Maestro A Boxing. It's on YouTube. I go live today. We take callers too, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. With my man, I'm in the Bronx, New York. My man Kenny T's in the Heights. We do a show every Monday night called Mano a Mano. We do it live. So tune in if you're free later on today.
Will do. Definitely.
Thank you, brother.
Make sure y'all tune in.
I love this guy. I love this guy. He makes my fucking blood boil. I love that shit, bro. I need that because listen, you need somebody to fucking get you on and give that energy. But
yeah, bro.
Listen,
I'm
just a growth type of guy. I don't want to be stuck. You know what I'm saying? And I used to call Gennady a duck, but I see now it's like it's retrospect. I lived through all of that. Like, so many dudes chose the bigger fight. You know, Sergio chose the bigger fight. Then Cotto chose the bigger fight. You know, then Canelo chose to make him wait. He talks about people ducking. Canelo vacated the WBC not to fight, Gennady Golovkin, and try to blame it on a feud he had with Mauricio, saying Mauricio isn't going to pressure him into fighting Gennady. And that's how big Gennady was, and that's how much people were ducking him, that you had the fucking sanctioning bodies getting involved. You had the networks getting involved. You had the writers getting involved. Imagine where Crawford, we would have fucking Earl versus Crawford right now if all the writers, if the networks, if the fucking public was behind him, but they not. They not.
No.
Everybody was behind Gennady.
We'll continue a different topic next time. Thank you so much. I'm out.
I thought you'd been left. I thought you'd been left, Maestro. Peace out, brother. Thank you.
The thing that people, I need you to understand one thing before I say this. I agree with you, and I'm the one that made this point originally. By the way, this is based off of my, factoid. But the one thing that people are saying that I do agree with is you're underplaying the injury to Martinez.
He was in the future.
Very hurt. And
in the future.
Shout out Supermex who had brought that point up. But a lot of people are saying that in the chat and texting me.
In the future. That's a lie. They think in 2014. His knees he didn't come out with braces till the Cotto fight so they could stop it. And he didn't fall.
But the knee trouble was always from soccer.
He didn't fall till the water fight in Argentina. He should have never went out there and tried to fight in his hometown in the fucking rain. I think that's the time he slipped. So I don't want to hear shit about a knee because that's 2 years fucking later or the next year. Motherfucker, when you won your belt, they wanted you to fight him. That was September. Keep that same energy. HBO would have did a fight in December. Don't act like they don't do Crawford fights in December and they ain't used to do Khan in December. Man, they would have did a December fight with his ass. He ain't want the smoke, man. Just like Gennady ain't want the smoke. HBO wanted Gennady versus fucking Ward. And his promoter had to come out and say, nah. And his promoter's on record with me. Nah, Ness, we just don't want that fight right now. You know what I'm saying? They was looking for Gilberto or Chavez. They was looking for a fucking name. You know what I'm saying? And Ward ended up not being a name. 190,000 pay-per-views. Let's go. What? Talk about it. He taking on the biggest fight of his career. He moving up, daring to be great, and still only sold 190. So let's keep the same energy, man. It's crazy to me. It's crazy because, again, I came up calling Triple G a duck. You know, I wanted him to fight somebody, but then I quickly seen it's them not wanting to fight him. It's them wanting fucking career-ending paydays. Dudes want to get paid like, this ain't no pay-per-view. But to fight Gennady, you want pay-per-view money, man. Get your ass out of here. He ain't even got a belt. You want pay-per-view money. He got an interim. You want pay-per-view. No, you fear that man. You know what he brought. He ain't knocking niggas out. Curtis Stevens ain't make this face for no fucking reason. What's my man? Dominic Wade wasn't picking himself off the floor for no fucking reason. And that's a fucking right. They ain't fight him in his prime.
Bruh,
was his prime 35 or was his prime 30?
Yeah.
Man, dudes is just corny, man. Whatever. I love doing this shit, though. I check you all day. I know you coming for me, Checkmate, because you probably going to be calling them bum Lufkin.
Bruh, stop. Yo, listen. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Y'all keep jumping off.
They going to be last. Let them be last. Let them be last. KC Boxing.
And my wife.
Oh, KC, why you never on point, man? Is you ready or what? You over there talking about your wife again, man. You going to put your whole business out here, man. We're going to go to somebody else in the meantime. Because last time you was having a whole full-blown conversation.
You got David there. I just put the number in. And you have somebody else. Antonio.
Stop that. Luis Garcia. We going out to Matt Cedillo. And he says, stop hating, man. Golovkin was an early pioneer of chasing Canelo sweepstakes. Damn, Mr. PBC, I forgot about you. Sorry, brother. I'm on one, man. I'm on one. I'm heated.
You hot.
I'm
you
hot.
Literally
Let's go. What's up? Let's go. Counterpunch. What you want?
Yo. So Castaño was WBO. I think that I don't think it's gonna be Tim Tszyu for his manager. I think we're gonna have Bud go to PBC, and he's definitely gonna be fighting Castaño. Move up. Go the WBO route and prove he can do it better than Charlo. Obviously, that night was pretty horrible. I've never seen someone just wobble someone and never really just stand right in front of him just the whole time while he's wobbled. Crazy fight. Shout out to Canelo. You know, people still, coming up with crazy stuff, but you have to admit it. He did cheat. That's my call.
Yo, Supermax just sent a news clip from Dan Rafael, who was the former ESPN senior writer and was on the beat at the time. Well, still on the beat, but at the time for ESPN. September 19th, 2012 is the date. And I repeat, middleweight champion Sergio Martinez will undergo right knee surgery next week after suffering a minor tear during his unanimous decision victory against title holder Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. last Saturday night at the Thomas Mack Center. So the knee injuries come from soccer. I think that what we saw in the Argentina fight was a culmination of injuries that had already been occurring. So just wanted to put that
Listen, man, give him his knee surgery excuse. All I know is he didn't put braces on. Okay, it wasn't a visible issue or an issue where he needed braces until the Cotto fight. He ain't had no braces until that fight, so that's all that really matters to me.
But did he have a knee wrap though?
I don't remember anything before that.
I don't know.
But
you might be right.
We got Checkmate Checkmate Boxing. What up?
What's up, Ness? No, first of all, it's hard. I can't come for you, Ness. You know why? Because you'll cut me off, and then after you hang up and tell me I can't let you lie to my listeners, you'll talk for 15 fucking minutes about the subject, and I can never get in. So, no, I will not be debating you, but I will say this.
You could do a counterpunch if that happens.
You could do a counterpunch.
No, what you need to do is invite me on this fucking panel one day so I can go ahead and give it to you. But listen. I will say this: the guy Maestro, the new guy, he won the debate. You win some, you lose some. He won the debate. Bringing in a 15-year-old Canelo and then excuse Canelo when people say, "Oh, he was just a baby with 40 3 fights when he fought Floyd. No. He was 15. He was prepubescent. You know what I mean? So he lost that. You kind of lost that debate, but it's all good. It's all good. Also, when it comes to GGG, I felt like he was vastly overrated because people always talk about resumes. Who has he fought? Who has he fought? When it comes to Tank, when it comes to other people, right? So the thing about GGG is when he did step up, his first step-up fight was against Jacobs, and I thought he lost. I thought he beat Canelo twice. The last one could have been a draw, but he definitely won the first one. However, he lost to Deverenchenko. And he's ducking Charlo, and he's ducking Andre. So I cannot give GGG that credit of being great. And you know what? They had him listed as number 1 pound for pound without a marquee fight. That tells you how propaganda artificial anointing works. So no, GGG is good. I like to watch him fight, but he's not great because whenever he did step up, you know what I mean? You see what happened. Now with Canelo's a ducker too. Canelo only fought 2 fighters at 160 and ducked the hell out of there. Who the hell ducks out of 2 mandatories? IBF with Devchenko and WBC with Charlo. You just don't do that and call someone great. No, man. Listen, I like Canelo. I think he's skillful, but you know what I mean? I just think both those guys, you guys put them on pedestals when when you're not deducting points for deducting. Anyway, that's my call. Oh, and one last thing. This guy, he said I was ducking, what's his name, Julius, whatever the case may be, low IQ. No, sir. I invited him to Nike's versus boxing versus, and he declined. I don't duck nobody. I bring the fucking pain. You hear me, you fucking idiot? I bring the fucking pain. Anyway, that's my call, guys.
You be lying, but
you also bring the curse word.
I ain't wanna cut you off, but you be lying. That's why I like cutting off, because I forgot what you lied about. You know what I mean? You remember anything he said? Fucking hell. I had it right on the tip of my tongue. It was just the last bit before he went at Julius. Fuck. Triple G ducking. What'd he say about that?
He said Triple G was ducking. Canelo was ducking. Canelo fought 2 middleweights and then moved up. And then he said, oh, man, I remember he said something right after that.
Yeah, well,
actually made a new point.
That right there was weird to me.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
About Canelo, ducking Derevianchenko. That's,
said he fought 2 middleweights.
That's misleading. That's misleading. He's not telling the audience the truth. Canelo offered Derevianchenko $5.5 million. He turned it down and took the same $5.5 million to fight Gennady Golovkin. That's the truth. They chose a business decision. They knew if they tried to squeeze Canelo, he would vacate and they would still get the shot anyway for the vacant title. So they did that. They tried to get a career high payday. Again, we keep talking about this. You either want to fight or you want retirement money. You either want to fight or you want retirement money. Oh, you don't want to fight me. You want retirement money? Fuck it. Go fight Gennady for the belt. And what happened? You didn't win the belt and you got robbed. So, how'd that work out for you? You know what I mean? That is the truth. You understand? That is the truth. Not what he said. But we got, oh, yes, I'm glad he called in. He really going to come at Triple G. Let's see. I'm glad. Ooh, I love it. Let's see here. Where are you?
Don't even respect your ass. That's why it's time for the doctor to check your ass, nigga.
Fight Doctor in the house. What up?
Fight Doctor's in the house on Triple G status, not Triple G, on Rick James status as always. Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah.
What up?
He already got you on the
ropes.
ropes.
I know. I was like, damn, he coming hard.
I already got you on the ropes, champ. You fumbling your words? Come on, man.
Come on, Fight Doctor. You got him.
So listen, Listen, let's talk about Triple G, right? Now, what are his two best wins, right? That's my first question. His two best wins, arguably Danny Jacobs, without question, Danny Jacobs, a fight that I thought he lost. And I think you can make an argument that Derevyanchenko is his second best win, another fight that I thought he lost. So your two best wins arguably are losses. Now, in terms of ducking, this guy goes out and calls out everybody from, or his manager says that they will fight anyone from 154 to 168, but you spent your whole career at 160 doing what? Fighting junior middleweights. And the two middleweights that you fought, you lost to, right?
No.
And in terms of ducking, listen, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to wrap it up. What is Golovkin doing now? Since the Alvarez fight, who has he fought? You got Charlo out there calling your name, but you refuse to go see him. Why is that? You duck Ward. You duck Ellis Landy Lara when he called you out, when you claimed that nobody wanted to fight you at 160. He's a junior middleweight calling your name, but you act like you were there. You want to go fight James DeGale. You wanted to fight Chavez at 168. You wanted to fight Carl Flex at 168, but Andre Ward, all of a sudden you go deaf, dumb, and blind when his name is mentioned. And now that you got your big fight and you laid the biggest egg in the history of boxing in the rematch, what do you go and do? You resume your previous status as the biggest ducker in boxing. The triple duck, okay? The lowercase g. The biggest hype job in recent boxing memory. All right, that's how this guy should be remembered. Having done nothing in the whole of his career, two best wins were losses. That's the triple duck. And gentlemen, I'll leave you with that.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna come with the fight. I mean, he had good points, but all of them have been refuted already. Like the Lara stuff.
Yeah.
Like we know what Lara was doing. He did want to fight Triple G. You're not lying, but he didn't want to go to 160 to do it.
Nope.
Like he wasn't trying to play by the rules. The rules that Mayweather played by, the rules that Pacquiao played by, the rules that Cotto played by, the rules that Mosley played by. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But
I got Sam Sweeney. Sam.
It was a good call, Fight Doctor.
Who says this guy's just like Boxing MD? Laugh out loud. I also want to say Untitled is tonight on YouTube memberships at 7 p.m. Eastern. You got to be a champ or better to listen to it live. If you want to drop a question to have us answer live on the show, you can do so by dropping that question in the Patreon only post on patreon.com/The Boxing Voice. Called the Untitled Topics and Questions post. I'm actually tweeting it out now. If you follow us at The Boxing Voice on Twitter, you'll be able to see that. And if not, I will be putting it in the chat right now in the live feed of YouTube. So yeah, there you go. So 7 p.m. Eastern for Untitled tonight. We're going out to Mr. Keem in Florida. Are you available? And that is a no to the no. Coach Myers, Connecticut Boomerang, are you available? What's up?
What's good? Hey, what's the news, man? I hear you going all crazy and shit.
I mean, we talking Canelo believing that Castaño beat Jermell, and we're talking is Canelo Keller Plant gonna happen, and then the Triple G possibility mixed in, and then it's like, Triple G's a duck. No, he's not. It's like it's all over. We're all over the place.
I don't think Canelo's wrong by thinking Castaño won. I think Bud thought it too. I mean, I thought Castaño edged it out. I mean, he looked happy just getting the draw, but I think he should have been upset because he didn't get the win. But he's probably going to fight Tim Tszyu next. I mean, Tim Tszyu's, third in the IBF, something like that. So, I don't know. He probably could skip the line. IBF don't play when it's the mandatories. So, I mean, my question is, do you think it's ever going to be a rematch for the Undisputed? Because, it's like a once in a a lifetime thing. Like usually it's not rematches, but what's your thoughts on that?
I'm sure they could do it because they got both fighters. Al has both of them. They just got to successfully meet their mandatories, or since Al has both of them, neither one probably has to pay. Well, Zoo isn't with Al, but you see, Al has Castaño, right? He doesn't have the mandatory in Tim Zoo, but he got Mel and the mandatory in Lubin, so he don't got to pay Lubin step aside. Give him Danny Garcia, you happy. But Zoo is another thing. Zoo gonna want his shot. They gonna go to purse bid. He got the money. He got the stadium. He got the fans to make Castaño go over there because he could just win the purse bid. It's just that simple. We going out to more callers, and you know the number to call in, 14255695241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline.
What he done to the boxing world to be number one in the junior weight division.
Corporal don't know shit. Peter Fire don't know shit. The master don't know shit. I know it. I know everything but God.
David Maldonado, New York City. What up?
Let me find out you collecting the bag from Lifetime for when they come out with their documentary. Lifetime presents I Am Gennady. Let me find out, bro. Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you and the dragon in the back.
No, I'm at work. Well, listen, I want to touch on a couple of things. I really want to see the Gervonta Davis versus Rolly Romero, man. I would pay for that fight. I would pay for that fight. And, you know, Rolly Romero, even though I don't think he beats Tank, I think he's going to beat somebody because he has like an awkward style, and his whole vibe is like a modern-day English-speaking Ricardo Mayorga. Remember, Mayorga got a win over Vernon Forrest, so I can see Rolly getting lucky over somebody like maybe Devin Haney. But I really want to see that fight.
You hate on Devin Haney big time, man.
No,
you want to see Haney
I don't.
lose before he get to your boy Tio, huh?
Nah, come on, man. Let me get my call. Yeah, man.
I know.
I'm just trying to say, I think Floyd should cash him out and put him in there with Gervonta Davis. The build-up is going to be crazy. I'm telling you. And then if Gervonta knocks him out, which I believe he would, him and Teofimo, that's a little rivalry there because, you know, that's Rolly's right-hand man. Okay, that's one subject. The next subject, I want to talk about the Charlo fight. I don't think that was a rivalry at all, man. A lot of people use that word. They use that word rivalry too much. That fight was too close to be a rivalry, man. A rivalry would be, if you ever seen the draw between Whitaker and Chavez, that was a rivalry because Whitaker won like 10 rounds out of that 12-round fight, and they called it a draw. But I was thinking, instead of the Charlo-Castaño rematch, what about Danny Garcia versus Castaño, hoping that he can get a belt? So when him and Charlo fight, that fight will be undisputed, and it will be even bigger because it's a bigger name. But I don't think Danny will beat Castaño, though. He don't let his hands go in there. What you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think that it... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, what you going to say?
Damn, dog. I'm sorry. Whatever's going on in the back is like fucking my ears up.
Yeah, man. I think he's got what is her name? Daenerys. What is it?
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah, he's got her dragons trapped over there, man.
Oh,
They want a boomerang. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Boomerang.
Oh wait, actually, I was gonna read the Fred Robinson super chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, super chat real quick. Are we caught up? Then I'll just wait if we're not caught up.
No, next super chat I got it pulled up. It's from Brandon.
Oh, okay, well then just go ahead with the call and we'll come back.
Boomerang line 6. What up?
Hey, what's up, Ness? What's up,
Mario?
What up?
Yeah, my bad, Mario. I just wanted to say, as far as the Triple G thing goes, I remember way back in like 2014-ish, Abel Sanchez was saying Triple G was knocking out like heavyweights and sparring, and so that's what got me interested. I say this to say, but when it came time, like you guys were saying, for him to go up for Ward, they were making all kind of excuses for him.
Yep.
And I just don't understand. I don't understand. Like the dude that came on earlier, Maestro. I think he's a good addition to the team. He was saying that Triple G is one of the biggest hype machines behind him. Next to Lomachenko, I completely agree. But I did have a question for both of you guys. It's kind of off topic. I'm a man fan for Boots. I'm not gonna front, but Boots checks every box. How come he does not get fights, guys? Like, what is it that Boots is missing?
Commercial
That's my
appeal.
call.
Commercial
He
appeal.
just
You know,
got
like
out his
Canelo,
contract,
they gave him
though.
the names like Mosley, you know what I'm saying? They put him in there with Cotto's brother, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they built him and they got proper names that even as a upcoming rising star, it just continued to help him build. Boots, the problem with Boots, let me tell you the problem with Boots. He checks every box. What you love about him is what all the other fighters don't love about him to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem, is that right now his risk reward. Let me tell you, I was in Atlanta this weekend, right? Me and the fellas, and you'd be surprised how many dudes were like on the Boots train. On top of that, I've been part of D-Style. I was on D-Style show the other day. We interviewed one of Boots' training partners. Like, everybody has nothing but the highest remarks for this guy. He is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. That said, Thurman don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he really do. But you know, that's the narrative, is that he's just not well known enough to get those fights, and he's just, you know, risk reward ratio is just not there with him. It's too big, or too big a gap.
Yeah, man, I just think it boils down to him just getting out his contract. Nobody was going to invest money when they had to cut so many goddamn checks. You know what I'm saying?
Very good point. Very good point.
Now he's out that deal. Is one less check to cut, and, you know, is worth the investment. But you can't be investing in a dude and someone else is getting money off your investment. Like, you know.
You're right, Champy.
We're going out to Kellen, what up? Kellen on Skype.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Austin. Can you come back to me?
Oh shit! All right. We're going to. Who's up? Oh, Bomb Boxing. I see you getting back in shape, champ. What's going on, Arizona? What up?
Man, I can say, you know, I got sick for a minute and just trying to reassess.
We're going to have to come back to you, Bond. You must be in a bad service area. Please remind me to go back to him. We're going out to Big Gucci Nick. Big Gucci Nick, what up?
Hey, what up, Ness?
What up,
Ness? I want to thank you guys for the show. I really appreciate it. This shit gets me through every single day at work. Honestly, could not get through the day without you guys. So shout out to the Boxing Voice, #1 boxing podcast out there. And yeah, man, to stick to the topic, honestly, I'm happy with the draw. I'm a Charlo fan, but I don't think he won or I don't think he lost. I mean, I really paid attention to how many times Castaño got hurt and how many times Castaño hurt Jermell. But all in all, I think it was a pretty even fight. I'd like to see it again, man. I'd like to see a rematch. And, you know, Charlo does really good in rematches. So I think he's going to make the right adjustments. And next time, hopefully in the rematch, he takes care of business. Because, honestly, I'd like to see Charlo versus Crawford. I'd like to see Charlo versus some of the other top guys. I mean, Castaño's pretty good, but I feel like he's not gonna get it the next fight in the rematch. I'll give it to Charlo, but yeah, I'm happy with the draw, man. I'm not too mad about people's take on it. I feel like it's really the scorecard that's really irking people. I don't think it's the draw. I think if it, like you said earlier, man, if it was like a 114, 113, nobody would be complaining. They're really just mad about the scorecard. But yeah, man, that's my call.
All right, brother. Thank you for calling in. We got some super chat. Brandon Lynn says, "I'm not a scientist, but I'd say I'm not a scientist, but I did stay at a Holiday Express last night. Stop defending eating double clenbuterol Mundo burgers. What the hell is Mundo burgers?
Mondo Burgers. That's from Good Burger. You remember that movie?
Nah.
I'm a dude.
Oh yeah.
She's
Welcome
a dude.
to Good
He's
Burger.
a dude. Because we're all dudes. Hey.
Nah, I remember he's like, "Welcome to Good Burger, the home of Good Burger."
Good Burger.
Can I take
Yeah. The
your
Mondo
order?
Burger was like the big commercial, like, chain that made them clenbuterol fucking burgers. Yo, that shit was fucking pumping steroids right into the meat and serving it to the... Yo, man, people should have sued them motherfuckers.
Yo, we got Majid that says Regis versus Rolly, which I think I love it. But Regis already said on Twitter, like, they ain't gonna give it that fight. They gonna give it to Tank.
Yo,
he
he's
said, "Y'all laughing."
sour about his PBC move.
He
You seen the other day when he said, "Yeah, PBC ain't doing shit for." Or you know what? I shouldn't say that.
He took it back though.
He took a shot at them. Yeah, I don't want to like say something he didn't say, but paraphrasing, essentially, he was like, "I was lied to. Al told me this, that didn't happen. Al told me that didn't happen." So. And he's been vocal about it.
Then he took it back. You didn't see that? What's up with you?
Well,
bro?
I saw he deleted it though.
What's up with you? No, he said he came out and said that was taken out of context.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure after he got the call, it was. Yeah, you're right. You know what? I shouldn't get him in trouble. You're right. Uh-oh, my walls are shaking. I think I said something too bad about Al, and the gods are coming for me.
I'm being told, shout out to my UK following, I'm being told that AJ Usyk will be announced mañana.
Wait, what?
Yeah. AJ Usyk gets announced tomorrow. It's happening in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ness told you first, man. I'm out of here. We got more super chats to get to. What? You want it?
Nah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I'll take your shit.
If you're gonna really write it, you always busy, taking clenbuterol
I'll
burgers
take
and
it.
working in the gym.
You gotta stop saying that. I'm getting ready for a fight.
I'm recommending they do they VADA test your ass,
Bruh,
man.
I already told.
I never
listen,
seen
I'll
a fuck.
if you pay for it, I'll take it.
I never seen another 4'10" dude as cocky as you, man. I like, yo, you two,
Bro, you said it yourself. I'm moving better. Like, tell me, I'm not as big.
You are, but don't say that. You fucking up. Who you fighting? You shouldn't have let that out the bag.
I shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't. Let them think you AJ Robotic. Jay Miller super chat says Jay Space Miller. There we go. He says, does anyone recall hearing an old interview with someone saying they saw Canelo walking around at close to 200 when he was very young? I don't know. I never heard that. But why not?
Literally
Tim Bradley
never
used
heard
to
that.
weigh 180 and he was
90 seconds.
He was 140 pounder, so you never know, man. These dudes they know how to cut weight. This is their job. You do something for 10,000 hours, you become a pro. They are pros. They know how to, what works and what doesn't. We got Prince Nassim Hamed is a perfect example that he weights the same when he was pro versus now. Laugh out loud. No, he ain't. Right now, he big as hell. He a heavyweight. I know G Dallas with the 2 laughing out loud.
60 seconds.
Next one is from Super Mex, I want a weight check right now. Right now, motherfucker. Right now.
Why? He's not worried about weight.
Worried.
He's worried about rounds. He's worried about
stamina.
stamina.
I'm worried, nigga. I'm worried.
Worried
You know what I'm
about
saying?
Worry about your owns.
Nah, dog, you playing games, bro. That is big pun.
Bro,
weight.
you got people out here thinking I'm under 5 feet tall now. Why you say shit like that?
Bro, they see us on the commentating when we were all standing.
Motherfucker, because you're like 6'7". Like,
But
what are you talking about?
You're also,
like, everybody
you're also
looks
at like you're like this is your forehead and Alex's waist. Like that's like, you know.
Man, you are tripping.
10 seconds.
This man made one of the biggest up and coming heavyweights that I seen look small. All right, that man didn't even want to take a picture with you because you was outsizing him.
We got Supermax that says, Ness, do you think Haney will be this weight at 31? I mean, who knows? He made weight for Linares. Samson was spreading rumors that Haney was going to move up, that he couldn't make weight. And when I seen him, he said it on my live. I told you I could make weight. You know what I'm saying? He ain't struggling. He ain't struggling, Papa. So you could dead that. But it's all right. Look, like, y'all giving people passes. All I'm saying is my favorite fighter moved up, and he started at 140. You know what I'm saying? Show me another dude moving up like that. We got B-Dog with a super chat that says, Sugar Ray Robinson did the same thing. Started at 15 as lightweight, moved up to light heavyweight. He couldn't stay at lightweight. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But some people want to make excuses for other people. They don't want everybody to move up to 75. They want to kill me because I said Regis, you know, well, Canelo did it. Okay, maybe this isn't the time for Regis to do it, but he started at 140. He should be able to get up there like everybody else. There's other people doing it. I ain't saying he got to go to 75, but if you don't respect what Canelo did, then yeah, why shouldn't Regis do it? Why shouldn't Josh Taylor do it? You understand? Because obviously y'all not respecting the greatness that it takes to do it. So let's see everybody else fucking do it. Oh, they can't. Oh, you don't want them to. Oh, it's not worth it. They're going to get hurt. Their career be over. So then fucking put some respect on that man's name. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Is you know what I'm saying or you know what I'm saying? We got Supermax with another super chat. This says... So... Ness just discounting Martinez's knee injuries. Supermax, whatever, man. And then he says check pre-pro because he wanted to prove his knee injury. You know, he wanted to check his knee injury. His knee injury, you know, alibi for Martinez. His knee wasn't hurting when he took the Martin Murray fight or the Cotto fight. You know what I'm saying? He took those fights with a bust up knee. You making excuses. He could have took the Gennady fight and made the same amount. Stonebone Boxing, what up? Colorado.
What up? What up? Hey, man, I'm blessed, man, blessed. Hey, man, Triple G got what he deserves having to wait for Canelo because they was talking real big. He let Andre Ward call him Little G. And all of Andre Ward was out here disrespecting him. So I didn't feel no sympathy when Canelo made him wait. And so I guess Charlo ain't ducking Benavidez. And, like, you can't duck a dude who ain't in your weight class, I guess. Like, but I don't know. I think you can. Like, you out here talking about you'll fight everybody and dudes trying to fight you, and then you all of a sudden get amnesia of what you said about fighting, then that's a form of ducking. Maybe it ain't like ducking a contract or ducking a fight offer, but you ducking talking about some of these fights. And Triple G definitely didn't want to talk about fighting Ward. And the problem with Charlo is, the problem with, I think, with that Charlo fight was when you on the elite level, when you get those opportunities to get rid of a guy, it don't matter if he elite too. But if you get that opportunity, not like just hit a guy and maybe hurt him and he quickly recover. He hit Castaño with a minute and a half left in the second round, and he threw 5 jabs and maybe 2 hooks for the next minute. Like, that's not good enough when you see an opportunity like that. He had an opportunity to be crowned undisputed with a second-round knockout. He could have just at least threw punches and made the ref step in and say, whoa, people will be mad, but it ain't your fault if the ref stop it because this dude was not returning punches. I don't think he returned a punch after, when he got hurt, I don't think he returned a punch. He literally moved, went high guard, and stayed away from Charlo. And Charlo didn't go like a lion after a hurt gazelle. He was kind of posing, and Derrick James told him that. He said, dude, when you had him hurt, you got to press the gas. And I don't think a rematch is going to happen. He didn't sound like he wanted a rematch. I don't think that's a priority. Because if they want that to happen, they can make it happen. They ain't got to pay nobody. They can trump it. None of these mandatories have been called. They could announce the rematch in 90 days, 100 days if they want to do it. So the clock is ticking. We're going to see what happens. All right, y'all.
All right. Thank you for calling in. Ohio runs boxing. What's going on?
Hey, what's good, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? These Triple G guys, man, that don't like Triple G, man, you got to give him his respect. I hate defending him sometimes, but I have to. When they call him overhyped, man, when you are an overhyped fighter and you step up in competition, you're supposed to get dominated. You know, like Jeff Lacey, you know, you're supposed to get dominated, not be in the competitive fight. That's one thing they're not saying. I heard Fight Doctor say he believes he lost to Danny Jacobs based on his opinion. I thought he lost to Sergio, or not Sergio, but Derevchenko as well. But they still was competitive fights. Canelo too. Like, guys, we got to stop this. He got enough skill to be an elite fighter. Though. He's up there. Yes, we can say he ducked certain fighters if you want to. I think a lot of fighters has been in those situations. Sugar Ray didn't fight Aaron Pryor. Aaron Pryor came to the press conference, but we still praise Sugar Ray as one of the best. So we need to just calm down with that when it comes to the Triple G. As far as the Charlo, I had Brian winning, but it was a close fight. Now, I won't say it's a robbery. I don't think they're going to run it back right now. I just don't think they're going to do it. There's a lot of fights they just don't run back. I thought they should have ran Mauricio Herrera versus Danny Garcia. They should have ran that back, but it's the styles. They give you problems, and they can mess up the bag. And they can mess up the bag for a fact. So I just don't think they're going to run it back. I would love to see it, but they're not going to run that back. Charles didn't want that rematch. I know what it's like. But that's my call, guys.
All right.
Yo, I got a dip. I will be back for Untitled and Big Gucci Nick and damn, I can't remember. Anyway, at Martin McGee on Twitter, at Martin McGee on Instagram. Peace. See y'all tonight.
All right. We got Georgie Porgy on the line.
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't pay Showtime to see you all there not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see two motherfuckers just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that sport, my dude? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next. What a great show. Thumbs up, donate. Yo! What's happening, people?
What up?
Yo, Ness. Let me give a shout out to Super Max. Yo, you gotta put some respect on Super Max's name. This man being a participant, a panelist, a contribute. Man, that man be super chatting all the time, bro. And he always show up. So when I had some people to respecting this man that being a part of the tribe, major supporter, listen, I use glasses. My dad used glasses. My granddad used glasses. My kids use glasses. There is a fucked up gene there, G. Not everybody who's overweight is lazy or doesn't want to lose the weight. So there must be an understanding, because I don't think Ness creates water boards for people to be like fat shaming and body shaming motherfuckers.
Ain't nobody fat shaming. Consistency is key. I know him more personally.
I know, baby.
I know him more personally
listen,
than you.
He will never make a buck something. Stop it.
He don't gotta be a buck something. He could get that. And yes, the fuck he can. Yes, the fuck he can. Yes, the fuck he can.
Stop it, B. You don't know science like that. Not even scientists got that shit packed down. Not even scientists got it packed down. It's a gland shit, baby. It's a gland shit.
I'm a gland in your face. You better sign up. When
listen,
you sign
let me get to the shit. Let me get to the shit.
Yeah, get to the shit.
Yo, Ness. Yo, Sergio used to roll up in a wheelchair, nigga, to the fights. What you talking about?
That
was the king of the knee-raps. That was the knee-rap king, G.
Yeah, I protected him.
What are you talking about? That man couldn't even walk in the ring. He was hopping all around it. Anyways, I just want to talk about the Supermax shit real quick. That was about it. Everybody else support, donate, and I'm out.
All right. Yeah, man. Border Wars has plenty weight loss stories, man. They there. It takes hard work and dedication. The best boxer in the world told you the formula: hard work and dedication. And Terrence Crawford has proven that by following that, and he's undefeated. You understand? Hard work and dedication. If you are a fighter that you're always in the gym, show me a fighter that's always in the gym, I'll show you a successful fighter. It's just the bottom line. It's just the bottom line. Very few. Look at Gabe, man. That's why I love his story, man. It came back full circle. Full circle, man. But we ain't done. We got more people here on the phone lines. Even though I'm alone, I got in Anaheim. Looking like Javier. What up? Right?
Yo, what up?
What's going on?
Hey, why every time that dude Georgie Porgy called in, fucking that Puerto Rican actor from Narcos? You ever seen that show, the
I
Kingpin?
did see Narcos, but I don't remember that actor.
Yeah, he's one of the Kingpins. That dude's face always pops in my head every time that dude calls it. I mean, it was cool though. Hey, was it yesterday where you had that full panel and stuff?
Yeah,
with Steve
last
and everyone
night.
in? Yeah, that was a cool show, man.
Yeah,
okay, brought me back. Yo, so I had a question. So, remember, I think it was yesterday. You said you pretty much had Castaño losing because the three. He got hurt 3 times.
I mean, I never said that he was losing. I'm just saying that it's funny people have the guy who hurt a person 3 times in a draw. I never scored it round by round. We were, at a live fight where we were commentating, so we got to watch it, like I said, on the trunk of a car, in the car ride, in the hotel. It was I didn't score it. So I don't have the right to say anyone won or lost. I just think it was a great fight. It ended in a draw, and they should do it again.
Yeah, no, I agree. What's it called? I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was pretty close. Could have gone either way. Hey, but I guess my question was...
today's topic is Canelo thinking Castaño won.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone either way. I guess it doesn't really matter what he thinks. Everybody has their opinion. But I guess my question was, everybody's always waiting on the Canelo fight. Who's going to fight next? What's going on with the rest of the division, though? Because everybody's always pushing, he should fight him, he should fight him, he should fight him. But all the other fighters, I don't feel like anybody else is fighting each other. You know what I mean?
They're not. They all waiting for the Canelo shot. All of them, every last one of them.
Well, that's what I mean. Where's the pressure? Where's the pressure on the rest of the fighters?
There is no pressure. There is no pressure. You just heard a guy call in and say you can't duck if the dude is above you. And then I kind of agree with that, but then Stonebow called in again, and he made me think, like, man, you could be ducking a dude. If that dude is calling you out, if he got energy for you, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody, like, Benavidez is talking all types of ways to Charlo, that's some shit he need to settle. You understand? So that's different. Saying Charlo not ducking Benavidez, I don't know, that's almost a stretch. You got some dude talking hella shit. He even trying to come to your division. His father talking to your trainer. This shit getting big. Like, Ronnie called Al. I forgot to say that. Ronnie called me back. He's like, yo, he lying. I called Al. Al told me that Benavidez never called him. Not his father, not Samson, not nobody. So it's on Jose Sr. now to call Al like he said he did, because he obviously didn't.
Don't you think, though, like, if these fighters actually fight each other, get some wins on their resume, like, they're more likely to get the fight instead of just waiting around trying to
of course, man, but
trying to beg for the fight, man?
Of course, but that's our logic. That ain't their logic, man. We believe that. They don't necessarily believe that. 9-6, you want your boomerang?
Come back to me, Ness, if you can.
All right. We going to JP Long Beach. What is up?
Long Beach in the house. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the chubby weight champion of the world, Supermax. How I want to get about this. I guess I'll piggyback off where the caller was talking about earlier. Everybody likes to talk about, the phrase "marvelous Marvin Hagler" coined "sleeping on satin sheets," and some people applied this to both the Charlos. Actually, I call it more. You don't want to get away from your girl at all. See, a problem I'm seeing here in boxing with certain fighters is that these motherfuckers don't want to be away from their woman for no time. Back in the day, you leave your family, that make you remember what you fighting for a little more, so you can miss it. These motherfuckers, girls is on Instagram, filming them while they training. They always there. They always there. So that's more so what I'm gonna lean this lack of performance from the Charlos here recently. That's where I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna say, and I'm also piggyback off of what Terrence Crawford said lately. He said that's why you're not in the pound for pound, and I agree. I'm now taking Jermell Charlo off the elite pedestal. I feel like he can contend for about 5 rounds in fights. I seen him doing it against Tony Harrison. Just seemed to lose track, sense of urgency, and just be all over the place. And so I'm removing him from that. He seems like he definitely can be beat. He's not unbeatable. He didn't seize the moment when it was right there for him. Another thing I want to quickly get to, man, Gennady Golovkin. Look, y'all need to put some respect on that man's name. Now, Ness, after my call, I hope you can give us some clarity on whatever the legislation is for these Euro guys like Lomachenko, like Gennady, where they can't get over here till they're 30 years old, it seems. I don't know whatever that is. I hope you can shed some light on it. But Gennady Golovkin, let me go out on a limb, would have been the second greatest, if not the greatest, middleweight champion who ever lived if he'd had been over here fighting pro at 22 years old, 21 years old, like everyone else. You only sample you have, go watch that man's extensive amateur career, sparking guys in headgear. It's some shit damn near like you never seen before. And he was quick as hell. The right hand was lightning. Go back and watch you some Gennady, man. Put some respect on that man's name. He came over here, did his thing. I think you could argue that he won both Canelo fights to me. But an impeccable fighter, dude. We didn't see him till he was 30 plus years old. And you could argue that them dudes who do all that Olympic shit, they get here and a lot's left in the gym. So that's my call, my brother. Thank you.
All right. I just think that those countries, it's a little bit difficult, man, to just break off, especially when you're such a great Olympian. You know what I mean? You're kind of stuck in that because you're representing that country's. America is really the home of the free, man. I don't know. Them dudes be like, he stood in amateurs forever. Look, listen to his story. He said like, one brother, we both wanted to box, but only one could. Like, I forgot what was the exact details, but why the hell both of them couldn't box again? None of that shit makes any sense to me. So, I don't know. I think it was just where he was born and raised, man. We got some super chats, though, from Fred Robinson. It says, we can't be talking about anyone ducking GGG while Andre can't get him in the ring. Come on, y'all. Listen, we talking about GGG being ducked way before Andre was a thing. And Andre is now calling out GGG because he looked 40. Andre wasn't calling out GGG when he was 54, giving 54 fighters an opportunity. Remember? Ain't that what he's getting criticized for? Giving 154 pounders an opportunity? Why Andre ain't never say that? I don't remember. If I'm wrong, someone send me a link. I don't remember him calling out Triple G when he was a 54 pounder. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember that. When he got the 60, Triple G's already had tough fights with Jacobs and Derevyanchenko and Canelo. So everybody wants to jump on him now. He looks slower. We all see it. Like, we can't deny it. To say that Triple G's ducking Andre, who ain't. Andre didn't even fought a Daniel Jacobs yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, Triple G got that name on his resume at the very least. Shout out to Ring IQ Boxing, who says Lou DiBella said it himself. Sergio avoided him. I'm telling you, man. I remember that shit, bro. The networks wanted that fight big time, real bad. Brandon, are you available? I know your mic had issues.
Yeah, what's going on, Us? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. As far as the topic, I think Castano's gonna get a lot of love and praise because he was the underdog, plain and simple. Nobody gave him really a shot, other than like me and a few people that watched his career over the past few years. I thought he had a chance to win. I picked Jermell, but yeah, when nobody gives you a chance to a shot to win, and you perform like that, you're gonna get all the praise in the world, and people gonna maybe put a little extra on the performance, even if it was close. They gonna make it seem like you dominated just because the fact that you was the underdog. And then what Jermell has to realize is when you take that villain heel, I hate the media type of approach, if you don't look flawless every fight, people gonna try to trash you and make it seem like you was terrible. So that's the role him and his brothers wanted to take. So every time they fight, it's gonna be a magnifying glass on their performances. And even when they have good fights or fights where they look decent, people gonna make it seem like they was trash. So that's what I think is going on right now. Like I said, I thought the fight was close. I edged it to Castano, but with Jermell, I think it's like he wears that hat of the bad guy. Fuck the media. I'm always angry, so whenever anybody gets the chance to like shit on him, they gonna do it. But yeah, that's just my opinion. As far as the Golovkin shit, yeah, I think Golovkin kind of like some other fighters. He fought in a division at the time where his shit was a little hotter at the 68 pound division. You had Ward and the Durrells and Abraham and Froch and all that Super 6 shit going on at 68, and really 60 wasn't really that popping. Like Andy Lee, Hassan and Dom, guys like that was top 10 fighters. So can't really blame GGG for that, but that's my comment.
Yeah, man. Andy Lee was, man. That's just the thing, man. Like, if you didn't really live through that time, you're gonna look on BoxRec and diminish it. You're gonna diminish it. So we got Adrian, Wisconsin. What up? Adrian.
What's good, y'all? Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to address that dude wanted to talk about science about clenbuterol and steroids. Like, here's the thing that people don't really understand. I've worked with people who are not professional athletes as a personal trainer who have taken shit that you could not take if you were a professional athlete. The thing is, when you fuck with shit like that, you keep 40 to 60% of what you gain from taking it, especially if you're an athlete. Like, people act like the second that shit goes out of your system that you're not going to capitalize on the gains that you got from using the substance in the first place. You might not keep all of it as if you were cycled on, but you're going to keep some of it. So anytime someone wants to talk about levels or when they used or anything like that, you're going to keep some sort of benefit from that for the rest of your life if you keep on working hard. And these dudes are boxers. They're constantly in camps and working out. So saying that shit doesn't matter, I mean, that's kind of bullshit. I mean, you can sit there and say what you want, but you're always going to benefit from taking something that's not natural to your body and that's supposed to help, whether it's cutting weight or anything like that. So, I mean, I didn't understand where he was going at with the science and hair follicle and this and that. If you use steroids and you keep on working out, you're going to keep some of the benefits even when the steroids are out of your body. It's just how it works. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts or any way around that. As far as the Triple G disrespect, I mean, dude was an avoided fighter. I don't understand how anybody can sit there and have lived through that time. I don't know how old that guy is, but lived through the Triple G era and say that nobody ducked him. Nobody wanted to fight him until he started showing weaknesses or showing things or getting hit more. I mean, the dude was running through people, and I'm not saying they were the greatest people, but hey, they were the people ranked in the division at the time. That's not his fault. But, it is what it is. If you have to disrespect another fighter to up another fighter, I mean, I'm in agreement. I don't think that Canelo won that first fight against Triple G. I think he got a gift. But that's me personally. A lot of people feel differently about it. The Charlo Castaño, I didn't get a chance to sit and watch it because I actually watched the fights that you guys were calling, and I had to go to work. But I mean, Charlo, just the look on his face at the end, kind of said a lot. I mean, that wasn't the look of a dude who thought he confidently won a fight. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said. That's my call.
All right. If you're in the live chat, I just pinned the TriStar Boxing Atlanta pay-per-view card playback. If you didn't get to catch the pay-per-view, you can now see the playback and catch us calling the live action and see some of these fights that I'm very high on. Amasil Jimenez is someone you should check out in the heavyweight division. Shamar, oh my God, I should have brought the fucking card home, man. Mario brought it home. Shamar, James about to hit me up. There you go. I blew it. But there's some guys, man. Savion Morales, man, we got to keep our eye on these dudes. Once I get his Instagram, we're going to share and even get him on. Austin in Texas, what up?
Hey, what up, man? Give me 1 second. Let me get at the top. Good afternoon. Guys, as far as the slip with Brian Castaño, personally, I judge the fight, man. But if something had given Brian, I wouldn't have argued it. But I definitely didn't have his way at all. So that 117 that was blasphemy, man. But
Champ, you in a bad service area. We going to Louisville Slugger.
TBV, what up?
What up? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, man, I ain't get to call in last night, so I'm just going to talk about the fight card, man. I enjoyed the little fight card, man. It was an entertaining one. You know what I'm saying? A nice little card. You know, the first fight was good. That Lean Vidal fight, I believe that's their name. That was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I think Lean probably did enough to pull it out, but I think that wide scorecard on that fight is what a lot of people got, like similar to the Castaño Charlo fight. You know, I think that's why a lot of people are mad about that fight. But I think Elaine did do enough to pull it out. But I ain't like the wide scorecard and giving the undefeated fighter the win. But and Rolly funny as hell, man. You gotta Rolly, man. I can't do nothing but I do want to see him in a fight, man. Like he playing that villain role well, and I would love to see him in a fight. I wouldn't mind seeing the Tank fight. You know, I would definitely like to see Rolly Tank over Isaac Pitbull Cruz. I feel like Rolly gonna definitely have us entertained during the build up. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll come in there because his I feel like his best attribute, not his power. I think it's just his aggressiveness, man. That man do whatever he got to do to, you know, pull that win out. I think he was just too physical for that man Yiggit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Yiggit probably was the better boxer, but Rolly just was being aggressive as hell, man. But he definitely playing that villain role well. So I think he might get a big fight. You know, in the fight, man, I ain't got no problem with the draw, man. I definitely see it as a draw. I don't see what the uproar is about the robbery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you feel like he won, and probably what he won, probably like 7-5, they ain't nothing but like one swing round. You had him winning. So you know what I'm saying? I definitely think the draw was fair. But definitely it's a great fight, man. That's what it's all about. When the best fight the best, you get fights like this. You know what I'm saying? But I think Jermell will probably make the proper adjustments in the second fight because that body was wide open, man. I feel like he'll take that body. I think he'll be able to probably get the stoppage, man. But definitely a good fight. But what else about to say? Yeah, it's just a good fight, man. Jermell just got to get off them ropes. Castaño was definitely had much of his success on them ropes. And we ain't used to seeing Jermell like that on the road, so I think that's why a lot of people think he probably low. But I think the draw was fair. Hopefully they go straight into it, man, because the 154 jumping right now, and that Mando, them defending their Mando might get an L on their record, man. But we'll just have to see, man. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing the the rematch though, man, and they can put it on pay-per-view. But yeah, good fight card, good weekend, and Canelo can have his opinion. A lot of people had Castaño winning, but yeah, that's my call.
All right. Majid, Ohio.
Yo, let me take this off speaker real quick. Everybody need to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join YouTube members and Patreon for something. I think that fight this week on the whole card, I like all three of those. They was entertaining, back and forth. Me personally, I had Castaño winning the fight or whatever, but I ain't judge it just by eyesight, so that don't count for shit. And I had through a super chat, but my phone died next, so I just had wanted to ask you, what you think about Raleigh versus that Riggaroo kid, whatever his name is?
Yeah. I like that fight. I like Rolly versus Regis. I read your super chat. I do like that fight.
Yeah, I think between the way they keep talking or whatever, I think that's a way to fit Regis in or whatever without calling people too big or whatever, that they ain't gonna make. So shit, if you could, man, try to throw that in somebody's ear, see if they bite off of it. But shit, man, good work and good work on that commentating over there in Atlanta too. I seen y'all, but that's all I got.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support and obviously checking out the card, man. For real, hope you guys definitely tune into Mac Trucks. I'm forgetting the whole Friday card because I did a Saturday card too, man. But Mac fucking had that shit lit on Friday, man. He blanked a dude that I thought was gonna be a tough fight because he just came off of beating an undefeated heavyweight at 8-0 who just came back with a knockout win himself. I mean, not just came back. He already got some wins, but he got a knockout on Saturday, and that's Keith Riddell Mays, right? So I don't know, man. Y'all should check it out. The playback is available. I pinned it in the chat. Looks like I got to see. I'm gonna try. Akeem, are you available in Austin? We'll come back to you. Actually, let me go to my boomerang line 6. What up?
Hey, what's going on there? Personally, I hate draws. I think draws is the worst thing in sports. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think in any sport, especially combat sport, it should be a decisive winner. You know more about in the ins and outs of boxing. How come sanctioning bodies don't have like another judge just off on in case it comes to a draw that can make the determining factor? Now, that's my call.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I don't even know who we could call to answer that one. I don't know why they don't have a fourth judge to, I guess, be the split of the draw, but because it would just keep adding, because then what if I guess maybe you're saying that you only use the fourth judge if the fight ended in a draw, or if the fight were to end in a draw, then you get the fourth judge. It's just so weird, I don't know. But that's everybody. Coach Myers, did I go to you twice?
Nah, absolutely not.
What up?
Nah, I just want to correct you on your boo-boo slander.
Oh, yeah?
Boo-boo been calling out, yeah. Boo-boo been calling out Triple G since 2016, man. So when he was at 154.
16.
So I don't want to. Nah, I'm just saying, don't be painting false narratives talking about, he only calling them out when he's old.
What you said.
I don't want to hear that. When he was at 154 and Triple G was at 160, he still called him out and said he'll go up to 160 and fight him when he was the boogeyman.
In 2016.
Stop paying false. What's your point? You said he's calling them out now. I'm telling you, he's been calling them out for 5-6 years ago.
I need an article, man. I need an article.
Hey, it's in the Skype chat, bro. It's in the Skype chat. You just ignoring it.
And I don't see when he would have got a fight with Triple G in 2016. I really just don't. He wasn't proving that. He fought Willie Nelson. Then he went to Germany and fought Jack Coolclay in 2017. And then he went back to HBO and fought Alantez Fox. I don't believe you. I need to see that link. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying whoever wrote that, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Triple G was the most invested fighter on HBO, man. Like, remember Floyd himself left HBO because he felt he wasn't getting a fair shake on the network. He felt he was putting on brilliant performances, but the network just wanted to see him lose. This is the network getting behind a fighter. Giving them anybody and anybody to fight on the fucking network just to build them. But anyway, Nets GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Catch me on the next one. Peace.